Chapter 332. Another crisis, King of Slaughter. I hope you don't die so early in the North Sea ancient land. Otherwise, it would be meaningless. After successfully tricking the King of Massacre, causing him to be in grave danger, Yi Chunfeng revealed a cold smile as a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Then, he muttered in his heart, "Wait until I come back to Slaughter City. I will definitely make you crawl at my feet. Sword puppet, let's go." Yi Chunfeng stored the sword spirit puppet, whose energy was severely depleted, into his universe ring. Then, with a flap of the golden rock's wings, he cut through the ice-cold seawater and flew towards the trench at an extremely fast speed. After about a day, a pillar of water shot up into the sky from the blue sea. Yi Chunfeng was like a flood dragon as he broke out of the sea and flew through the North Sea at an extremely fast speed. A ship. After flying for several hours, Yi Chunfeng saw from afar a ship that was over 100 meters long. It was completely black in color and had several dozen chimneys emitting black smoke. It looked like a sharp sword as it sped across the turbulent sea. The Wu clan ship. Seeing the Wu flag hanging on the ship, Yi Chunfeng's lips curled up slightly. He drew an afterimage in the sky as he flew over at an extremely fast speed. Third Elder. It seems like a supreme king is flying toward our ship. The Wu clan disciple, standing on the observation deck, noticed Yi Chunfeng from afar. He immediately took out his communication pearl and sent a message to the Wu clan's third elder who was cultivating in the cabin. A supreme king? The black-robed Wu clan's third elder exuded a sharp, killing intent. He slightly frowned and stopped cultivating. He slowly stood up and walked out of the cabin to the deck. It's him. How could it be him? When the Wu clan's third elder saw that the person flying over was actually the terrifying Yi Chunfeng of the Wu clan, his expression greatly changed as he loudly ordered, "Wu clan's disciples, listen up. Turn the soul crystal cannons around and attack. Do not let this person near our ship no matter what." Boom, boom, boom. Following Elder Wu's command, the dozen or so soul crystal cannons on the ship turned toward Yi Chunfeng. Energy beams filled with explosive power shot toward Yi Chunfeng, causing the entire space to tremble. Swish, swish. Yi Chunfeng unleashed his powerful soul and sensed the trajectories of the energy light beams. He flew back and forth at high speed, dodging the attacks. He passed through the concentrated energy light beams and landed on the deck of the ship. "What? You don't welcome me?" Yi Chunfeng retracted his wings, which were as sharp as golden swords. He looked at the Wu family's third elder and the others, who all had ugly expressions on their faces. "Yi Chunfeng, it was not my Wu clan's intention to deal with you back then. It was Great Elder Shue's idea. If you want to take revenge, you should look for Great Elder Shue, not my Wu clan." Although the Wu clan's third elder's realm was far higher than Yi Chunfeng's, when he thought about his title of Sword God and the fact that he had insta-killed the 6 peerless kings in Slaughter City, the Wu clan's third elder could not muster up any thoughts of resistance. He spoke without confidence. "Don't worry. Sooner or later, I will settle accounts with them with interest. However, you won't live to see that day." Yi Chunfeng never showed mercy to his enemies. Blood and bones intertwined with killing intent radiated from his body and locked onto the Wu clan's third elder, whose expression greatly changed. "Yi Chunfeng, are you going to kill us all?" The Wu clan's third elder roared somewhat timidly. He had already thought of breaking out of the encirclement and escaping. "Kill us all?" Yi Chunfeng coldly laughed and said, "If I did not have absolute strength, I would have been killed by your Wu clan already. Right now, I am only looking for you to collect some interest." As he spoke, 3 deathly white killing halos appeared behind him. He completely erupted with 1,500,000 gene of strength and pierced towards the Wu clan's third elder like a hot knife through butter. Iron Rhino fuse. As Yi Chunfeng's sword pierced over, a huge rhino covered in steel-like black skin appeared behind the Wu clan's third elder. The bloodline power in his body was completely activated, continuously increasing his strength. Rending Light Claw. An extremely sharp claw broke out of the Wu clan's third elder's body. It grabbed towards a gigantic fault heavenly sword. The moment he used the rending light claw, he quickly condensed his soul wings and wanted to break out of the encirclement and escape. Chi! A sound of cloth being torn apart rang out. The gigantic fault heavenly sword that was filled with 1,500,000 gene of killing power easily tore apart the rending light claw. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng slashed at the void. A crescent-shaped sword arc cut through the void and slashed towards the third elder at a speed that was difficult to see with the naked eye. Facing this terrifying sword, the Wu clan's third elder only felt that he was enveloped by the aura of death. His breathing became hurried, and his hair stood on end. He hurriedly used all his strength to resist. Boom! The crescent sword arc viciously chopped down on the defense that the Wu clan's third elder had condensed with all his strength. The huge explosive force was like a surging tide that surged into his arms, tearing apart the muscles of his arms and causing scarlet blood to spurt out. Damn it! What are you all standing there for? Hurry up and attack. If I die, don't think you can live either. The Wu clan's third elder didn't expect Yi Chunfeng's attack to be so terrifying that it could easily injure him. He immediately shouted at the stunned Wu clan's experts. If you don't want to die, you can jump off the ship. If you stay on the ship, kill without mercy. Yi Chunfeng's sharp eyes swept across the Wu clan's experts who were trembling with fear as he warned them with a stern killing intent. Bang, bang, bang. As soon as Yi Chunfeng's voice fell, several Wu clan's experts who were scared silly by his strength jumped off the ship without hesitation and quickly fled for their lives. With someone taking the lead to jump off the ship, hundreds of Wu clan's experts also jumped off the ship and fled. In less than 10 breaths of time, only the pale and trembling Wu clan's third elder was left on the ship. After being abandoned by the Wu clan's third elder was in despair. He never dreamed that at this critical moment, no one would be willing to fight alongside him. Blood chi ignition. With no way out, the Wu clan's third elder steeled his heart and quickly ignited all the blood chi in his body. He raised his strength to the greatest extent for one last gamble. Soul suppressing tablet. The Wu family's third elder, whose strength had been raised to the limit, roared. Blood-red soul power condensed into a giant hand that covered the sky and smashed towards Yi Chunfeng with the weight of Mount Tai. Sword Dao pattern break. The soul-suppressing tablet with powerful destructive power smashed over. 3 sword Dao patterns rushed out of Yi Chunfeng's body and fused into the gigantic fault sky sword. The sword broke apart the soul-suppressing tablet that was descending from the sky and cleaved towards the Wu clan's third elder. TSK. Blood splattered everywhere. The Wu clan's third elder's left arm was cleaved off by the sword Dao pattern. A large amount of blood spurted out and dyed the deck red. The Wu clan's third elder was in so much pain that he howled in agony. After the first slash, Yi Chunfeng cleaved 2 more times and severed the Wu clan's third elder's right arm. He then pierced through the Wu clan's third elder's heart meridian and crippled him. Soul-devouring art, devour. After crippling the Wu clan's third elder, Yi Chunfeng immediately appeared behind him and circulated the soul-devouring art to devour the Wu clan's spirit beast. Just as Yi Chunfeng devoured the Wu clan's third elder's spirit beast and ended his life, he was ready to take control of the ship and leave the chaotic sea. 2 more giant ships that were more than 100 meters long appeared. When Yi Chunfeng stood on the deck and saw the flags hanging from the 2 ships, as well as the figures on the deck, his expression changed slightly. Without hesitation, he summoned the Golden Rock Wings and abandoned the Wu family ship that he had just seized. He flew to the edge of the chaotic ocean at an extremely fast speed. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading history. You'll be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 333. Xingluo Sky City's Assassination. Yi Chunfeng. That golden afterimage is Yi Chunfeng. Shui Klo, who was wearing a blood-red robe and standing on the deck, saw Yi Chunfeng's rapidly flying figure. He raised his eyebrows and hurriedly shouted. As soon as Shui Kaluo's voice fell, the 6 kings on the 2 giant ships simultaneously condensed red soul wings. Like arrows, they shot into the sky with ear-piercing sounds, chasing after Yi Chunfeng with extreme speed. The 2 ships that had suddenly appeared and scared away Yi Chunfeng came from the distant Xingluo Sky City. After learning that Yi Chunfeng had actually mastered the 8 Sha Azura technique and 4 slaughter styles that Xingluo Sky City had never taught to outsiders, the current city lord of Xingluo Sky City was greatly shocked. He immediately sent experts to capture Yi Chunfeng. Who would have thought that His Majesty would actually fail? This Yi Chunfeng is truly surprising. A figure wearing a black robe that covered his entire body and wearing a silver mask looked in the direction that Yi Chunfeng had fled in and said in a low voice, "Shadow, should we chase after him?" Shui Kaluo asked with a complicated expression. "No need. The most important thing now is to contact His Majesty. If we can contact His Majesty, perhaps we can still turn the situation around. Otherwise, with our strength, we won't be able to snatch him from the 6 of them." Shadow shook his head and replied. However, the King of Slaughter was currently trapped in the North Sea ancient land and was on the brink of death. No matter how they tried to contact him, they couldn't contact him. 2 rank 5 Defiant Beast Kings and 4 rank 4 Defiant Beast Kings. This Xingluo Sky City really thinks highly of me. Sensing the strength of the 6 Xingluo Sky City peerless kings chasing after him, Yi Chunfeng couldn't help but reveal a trace of a bitter smile. He didn't expect that after escaping the King of Slaughter's pursuit, he would be pursued by the experts of Xingluo Sky City. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng yearned for power. If he had enough power, all the dangers could be easily solved. What fast speed! That Yi Chunfeng is clearly only a level 5 mystic beast ancestor. Relying on a pair of demonic beast wings, his flying speed is actually so fast. It's really shocking. The 6 peerless kings of Xingluo Heaven City had chased for more than 2 hours, but they had only managed to close the distance between them and Yi Chunfeng. This greatly shocked the 6 of them. That Yi Chunfeng's wings are not simple. If I'm not wrong, they should be a pair of golden rock wings. The leader of the group was an old man in a dark blue robe. He had white hair and sword-like eyebrows and bright eyes. Golden rock wings. Hearing the blue-robed elder's words, the other 5 supreme kings were even more shocked. The golden rock was known as the fastest flying heavenly beast in the Duhan continent. The bloodline of the divine beast, the golden-winged rock, flowed in its body. A young golden rock already had the strength of a supreme king. As for a matured golden rock, even an emperor-level expert would have to avoid its sharp edge. This Yi Chunfeng is not simple. He must be hiding a huge secret. We must not let him escape. As they spoke, the 6 supreme kings increased their flying speed, trying to close the distance between them and Yi Chunfeng at all costs. Time passed by slowly. Yi Chunfeng and the 6 supreme kings of Xingluo Heaven City were flying rapidly above the Azure Sea. As the 6 of them continued to increase their speed, they spent nearly a day and finally caught up with Yi Chunfeng. Green Shadow Entanglement. The blue-robed elder, who was the fastest, roared. Large amounts of green light surged out of his body like dancing spiritual snakes. They entangled Yi Chunfeng and slowed down his flying speed. Sword-based Dao pattern break. The rapidly flapping wings of the golden rock were entangled by the green light. 3 sword-based Dao patterns immediately surged out of Yi Chunfeng's body and tore apart the entanglement of the green shadow. Sword-based Dao pattern. I didn't sense it wrongly, right? That was a sword-based Dao pattern. The moment the 3 sword-based Dao patterns tore apart the entanglement of the green shadow, the 6 supreme kings who were chasing after Yi Chunfeng were all shocked. Dao patterns were extremely mysterious and profound. Normally, only those who had broken through to the emperor level would have the opportunity to comprehend them. Those who were able to comprehend Dao patterns at the reverse Beast King level were considered geniuses among geniuses, monsters among monsters. Therefore, the 6 supreme kings of Xingluo Heaven City were completely stunned when they saw Yi Chunfeng, who was a Class 5 mystic beast ancestor, comprehending 3 sword-based Dao patterns. What kind of monster did the city lord ask us to capture? After seeing Yi Chunfeng comprehending 3 sword-based Dao patterns, the 6 of them no longer underestimated Yi Chunfeng. They treated him as an expert on the same level as them. 7 Swords of Judgment, Extreme Cold. After tearing apart the green shadow, the 3 sword-based Dao patterns quickly evolved and transformed into an extreme cold sword light that could freeze the void. It tore through the sky and carried a shocking destructive power as it attacked the 6 of them. Rumble! The sky shook violently. After being attacked by the extreme cold sword light, the blue-robed elder's speed slowed down. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Chunfeng flapped his golden rock wings and quickly escaped. Storm! Suddenly, Yi Chunfeng, who was flying at high speed, realized that the sky in front of him had darkened. Large amounts of dark clouds covered the sky and covered the earth. Lightning snakes were rolling in the dark clouds. Violent winds mixed with the storm swept across the surface of the sea. Waves that were dozens of meters tall surged into the sky, and the entire space became chaotic. All right, since you guys insist on chasing after me, then let's fight to the death in this storm. Since he couldn't escape the pursuit of the 6 supreme kings with speed, Yi Chunfeng made up his mind and decided to take the risk to enter the stormy clouds and use his life spirit technique to finish them off. Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor, Ancient Extreme Purple Thunder. Yi Chunfeng quickly put on the damaged Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor that he didn't have time to repair. He then fused the Ancient Extreme Purple Thunder into the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor and increased its resistance to lightning. He then rushed into the dark clouds. What is he doing? Seeing Yi Chunfeng rush into the dark clouds, the 6 supreme kings looked at each other and didn't slow down. They followed Yi Chunfeng into the flashing lightning snakes and the dark clouds that covered dozens of nautical miles. Rumble! The moment Yi Chunfeng broke through the dark clouds, countless violent thunders exploded in his ears. The densely packed lightning snakes bombarded his body, but they were blocked by the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor and Ancient Extreme Purple Thunder. Just as he was enduring the baptism of the violent lightning, the blue-robed elder and the other supreme kings also broke through the clouds and flew in, surrounding Yi Chunfeng. The moment they flew into the clouds, low-grade heaven-grade battle armor appeared on their bodies at the same time, resisting the violent lightning. Why aren't you running? The blue-robed elder looked at Yi Chunfeng deeply and said in a low voice, I think this place is not bad. I can make a cemetery for the 6 of you. The corners of Yi Chunfeng's mouth curled up slightly, revealing an unruly smile as he spoke in an extremely domineering manner. Arrogant. The blue-robed elder and the other supreme kings didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to be so arrogant and bold. They flew into a rage and glared at him with round eyes. Whether I'm arrogant or not, you'll know soon. As he spoke, a large amount of bloody light poured out of his body. A double-headed blood dragon king that was more than 3,000 meters long appeared, tearing apart countless lightning snakes. It roared into the sky, and its dragon might shook the sky. Dragon. His spiritual beast is a mutated double-headed dragon. Seeing Yi Chunfeng's spiritual beast, the blue-robed elder and the other supreme kings were even more shocked. They realized that Yi Chunfeng was even more terrifying than they had imagined. They all merged with their spiritual beasts, preparing to capture him together. Life Soul Technique, burning 1,000 years of lifespan. After fusing with his spiritual beast, the double-headed Blood Dragon King, Yi Chunfeng's strength had been greatly improved. He then cast the Life Soul Technique and burned 1,000 years of lifespan. Suddenly, a large amount of life force erupted in Yi Chunfeng's body, pushing his own realm to rise steadily. In the blink of an eye, Yi Chunfeng had the peak strength of a 4th-level Defiant Beast King. What? Sensing Yi Chunfeng's sudden surge in strength, the blue-robed elder and the other supreme kings were so shocked that their eyeballs almost fell out. Yi Qinfeng's means were completely beyond their imagination, making them feel shocked and deeply uneasy at the same time. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 334. An intense battle in the thunderclouds, wrath of divine punishment. His strength was raised to the maximum. The ancient extreme purple lightning, dark extreme fire, and ancient extreme ice broke out of Yi Qinfeng's body and quickly fused into a violent and destructive ball of light. It tore through the clouds and blasted towards the blue-robed elder and the others. What kind of attack is this? The blue-robed elder and the others' expressions changed when they were attacked by the wrath of divine punishment. They all unleashed their powerful soul skills and clashed with the wrath of divine punishment. Rumble. The wrath of divine punishment exploded. Waves of destructive power surged out in all directions like a tidal wave and blasted a huge hole in the dense black clouds. The entire space was distorted. Although the blue-robed old man and the others were able to withstand the destructive force from the explosion of the wrath of divine punishment by relying on their powerful strength, they were still blasted apart by the surging destructive force. Instant kill. Yi Qinfeng's pupil shrank. He locked onto the weakest of the six. She had a voluptuous figure and was wearing a black dress. She had a head of dark green hair and was wielding a pair of swords. He pierced towards her as quickly as lightning. After unleashing his life-soul technique, Yi Qinfeng possessed the strength of a Class 4 Defiant Beast King for a short period of time. He was even faster when he unleashed his instant kill. His lightning-fast figure turned into a faint light. He was so fast that no one could see his attack trajectory. Water dual 10 swords. Yi Qinfeng attacked with his sword. The woman in the black dress, who had a lot of battle experience, reacted instinctively. The two swords in her hands shone with aqua blue light. They crisscrossed together and formed a cross-shaped sword aura, slashing towards Yi Qinfeng, who was approaching her. Wong. When the two powerful soul skills collided, dense ripples of water immediately surged out and dispersed in all directions like a whirlwind sweeping away the clouds. 1,500,000 kilograms of force break. The black-robed lady used her soul skill to block the instant kill. Her 6 meridians circulated rapidly. More than 1,500,000 kilograms of force was channeled into the titanic Fault Heavenly Sword, which was more than 20,000 kilograms. 81 offensive patterns were activated. The sword pierced through the aqua blue cross-shaped sword light like a hot knife through butter and pierced the black-robed lady's chest. Although the black-robed lady was wearing an inferior-grade heaven-grade battle armor, the Titanic Fault Heavenly Sword was a middle-grade heaven-grade weapon. Yi Qinfeng's strongest attack was more powerful than the heaven-grade battle armor. Crack! Crack! Cracks appeared on the low-grade heaven-grade battle armor on the black-dressed woman's body. A large amount of blood seeped through the cracks of the battle armor. Sword Dao pattern. The low-grade celestial armament shattered, and 3 sword-type runes shot out. The tip of the sword pierced the woman's chest, destroying her heart meridian. Blood spurted out of her mouth uncontrollably. Hey you! Yi Qinfeng severely injured the black-robed lady in a split second. By the time the blue-robed elder and the others reacted, the black-robed lady was already severely injured. Her combat strength was greatly weakened. Go to hell! Yi Qinfeng roared. Before the blue-robed elder and the others could rescue her, he froze her body with the ancient mysterious ice. The star-slashing sword light was released and cleaved her head, which she couldn't dodge in time. Bang! Large amounts of blood splattered. The black-robed lady's head was smashed by the star-slashing sword light. Blood and brain matter splattered everywhere. Yi Qinfeng, I want your life. The blue-robed elder was enraged when he saw his comrade being killed and his corpse falling into the azure sea. 5 destructive soul skills surged and blasted at Yi Qinfeng. PFFF. Yi Qinfeng might have reacted quickly, but the blue-robed elder and the others were too ferocious. He was still affected by the aftershocks and spat out a mouthful of blood. Ancient Extreme, Purple Lightning, absorbed the lightning. With his body injured, the Ancient Extreme, Purple Lightning surged out of his body and released a strong, devouring force. It absorbed the lightning snakes in the dark clouds. In an instant, Yi Chen-feng was surrounded by a large amount of lightning. Frenzied Demon Blade Art. As the Ancient Extreme, Purple Thunder absorbed the lightning, the blue-robed old man shouted. He held a heaven artifact battle saber in his hand. The saber hilt was embedded with gems, and the body of the saber was engraved with a large number of ancient patterns. In an instant, 18 sword shadows slashed down. The ferocious attacks were like floodwaters that opened the floodgates. Each wave was higher than the previous one. The dazzling sword lights were like meteors that fell to the ground and broke apart the lightning around Yi Chen-feng. Rumble. Hundreds of lightning snakes were cleaved apart by the blue-robed elder's frenzied demon blade art. Immediately, a blinding light burst out and blinded everyone. The entire space became extremely unstable. Ancient Extreme, Purple Lightning, explode. Just as the 18 sword lights were about to slash at Yi Chen-feng's body, he suddenly detonated the Ancient Extreme, Purple Lightning and released a destructive force. The violent energy waves swept through everything like raging waves. It tore apart the clouds and neutralized the 18 sword lights. Raging Inferno Cloud, Black Moon Dance, Blood Refinement Slash, Sky Bearing Palm. While Yi Chen-feng and the blue-robed elder were fighting, the remaining 4 people attacked at the same time. For powerful soul skills fused together and tore apart the thick dark clouds. They were like comets that streaked across the sky and bombarded Yi Chen-feng. Golden Rock Bloodline, Ignite. Yi Chen-feng quickly ignited his Golden Rock Bloodline and increased his speed greatly. Before the 4 soul skills could reach him, he quickly rose into the air and pierced through the thick black clouds, dodging the 4 people's attacks. Where are you running to? A burly Class 4 defiant Beast King with a beard and dragon head tattoos on both arms roared. He was holding a heavy axe and had a roar. His red soul wings flapped violently as he chased after Yi Chen-feng. Die! The burly man's murderous aura surged. Yi Chen-feng's pupils immediately contracted into the most dangerous pinholes. 3-sword Dao patterns shot out from his body and formed a lightning whirlpool that engulfed heaven and earth. ZZZZ. Attracted by the lightning whirlpool, the lightning snakes in the dark clouds surged rapidly, increasing the power of the lightning whirlpool. 7 swords of judgment, lightning devour. Yi Chen-feng slashed down with his sword. The rapidly spinning lightning whirlpool turned into a huge lightning sword. It tore out streaks of sword light that pierced through the void and slashed towards the burly man, whose expression changed drastically. Raging Inferno Cloud. Feeling the killing power of the huge lightning sword, the burly man's expression changed drastically. He quickly ignited his chi and blood power. His arms danced rapidly and formed a burning flame whirlpool to resist with all his strength. However, the 7 Swords of Judgment was a mid-grade Dao skill and was extremely powerful. Furthermore, Yi Chen-feng was a Class 4 Defiant Beast King, so the Lightning Devour was even more powerful. Boom! The 2 powerful attacks collided with each other, and a deafening explosion rang out. The burly man's raging inferno cloud only lasted for 2 breaths of time before it was destroyed by the huge lightning sword. The huge lightning sword that was filled with destructive power didn't slow down at all and cut open a hole in his low-grade heaven artifact battle armor. The surging power of thunder crazily rushed into his body and tore his meridians. Not good. The blue-robed elder and the other 3 saw that the burly man was in danger and wanted to rush to his rescue. However, Yi Chen-feng's reaction was faster. He poured 1.5 million gene of force into the gigantic fault heavenly sword and threw it out with all his might. No! The burly man was severely injured and had lost control of his body. When he saw the 5,000,000 gene gigantic fault heavenly sword flying towards him. His heart trembled. He let out a desperate roar and wanted to dodge. However, the gigantic fault heavenly sword was too fast. In the blink of an eye, it broke through his defense and pierced through his head. Xingluo Heaven City's second class, 4 defiant Beast King expert, life destruction. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this book. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 335. Kill one more. Choose son. Seeing the burly man's head being pierced by the titanic sword, the blue-robed elder and the others went mad with rage. They never imagined that not only would the 6 of them fail to capture Yi Qinfeng, but 2 of them would be killed by him in the thunderclouds. Seal the thunderclouds. Don't run, the blue-robed elder ordered in anger. He wanted to take advantage of Yi Qinfeng's loss of his weapon to injure and capture him. Blood Demon Sword. Facing the furious attacks of the blue-robed old man and the other 3, Yi Qinfeng immediately took out the low-grade heaven artifact, Blood Demon Sword, that he had obtained from killing the blood-slaughtering Sword King, and used it to block the fierce attacks of the 4. The sword light and the saber light collided, creating an ear-piercing sound of collision. A string of sparks sputtered out, and the ferocious counterforce tore the thick dark clouds apart, creating numerous cracks. After experiencing Yi Qinfeng's astonishing attack power, the blue-robed elder and the others didn't dare to be careless. They used all their strength to suppress Yi Qinfeng. For a moment, Sword Qi soared into the sky, and sabers tore through the void. The battle was incomparably fierce. Just as Yi Qinfeng's group of 5 were fighting intensely in the thunderclouds, a ship that was more than 100 meters long and as sturdy as an impregnable fortress sailed rapidly through the storm. When they passed under the thunderclouds, they heard the sound of something exploding. What's that sound? Are there people fighting in the thunderclouds? A beautiful woman in a white floral silk dress, with a slender figure, skin as white as snow, and a temperament as elegant as a serene lotus, looked at the violently trembling tribulation clouds in the sky and asked in astonishment, "There are more than 2 people fighting in the thunderclouds, and they are very strong. They aren't any weaker than me or the 10th elder." A white-haired old man in a moon-star Taoist robe spoke with a grave expression. His eyes flickered with the power of lightning. "Really?" A young woman who looked somewhat similar to the white-robed woman, but had a crafty expression on her beautiful face, said doubtfully, "6th Grandpa, you and 10th Grandpa are both level 5 Defiant Beast Kings. I don't believe we'll meet such experts at the edge of the chaotic ocean." Hung! As he spoke, a figure that had lost control fell from the thick thunderclouds and crashed into the turbulent sea. "It's him. It's actually him." Catching sight of the face of the figure descending from the sky, the woman in the white dress widened her eyes. Her delicate face revealed an expression of disbelief, and she could not help but exclaim in surprise. This white-dressed woman was none other than the green-dressed woman, Bai Ziqing, who had given Yi Qinfeng a jade slip on the 3rd floor of the Tower of Slaughter. The somewhat unruly woman was his younger sister, the blue-clothed woman who had once been defeated by Yi Qinfeng, Bai Yu. "Elder sister, who is that person?" Bai Yu blinked her big eyes and asked curiously when she saw Bai Ziqing's expression. "If I'm not mistaken, that person is Yi Qinfeng, the one who defeated you back then." Bai Ziqing took a deep breath and suppressed the shock in her heart as she spoke. "What? That person is Yi Qinfeng?" He broke through to the Supreme King realm. Bai Yu's eyes widened as she cried out in disbelief. "Qing'er, do you know that person?" The white-haired old man asked in a low voice. "6th Grandpa, that person is Yi Qinfeng, the one I mentioned to you back then. Who would have thought that after not seeing him for a few months, he would actually break through to the Supreme King realm?" Bai Ziqing said. "What?" After learning Yi Qinfeng's identity, the white-haired old man also revealed a shocked expression. In just a few months, he had broken through from the third level of the mystic beast ancestor realm to the supreme king realm. Such a cultivation speed was unheard of. Sixth Elder, look at those people. They seem to be people from Xingluo, Sky City. As they spoke, the blue-robed old man and the other three broke through the thick thunderclouds and chased after Yi Chunfeng with extreme speed. They wanted to heavily injure and capture him in one fell swoop. Xiao Wuhai, Xie Gusong, how could it be them? The white-haired old man saw the blue-robed old man and the other three and immediately recognized them. A trace of seriousness appeared on his face. Bai Ziqing's group came from a Bai family, a rank 7 sacred land of Xingluo continent. The relationship between the Bai family and Xingluo Sky City was not harmonious. They had clashed several times, and when the experts of the two forces met, fierce battles would often occur. 6th Grandpa, 10th Grandpa, this Yi Chunfeng's background is definitely not simple. If we help him during his most difficult time, perhaps our Bai family can form a good relationship with the force behind him and fight against Xingluo Sky City together. Bai Ziqing knew that providing help in a time of need was far better than adding flowers to a brocade, so she suggested softly, although the 6th Elder and I can stop Xiao Wuhai and Xie Gusong, what about the remaining 2 rank 4 reverse beast kings? With your strength, you are definitely not their match. If we act rashly, it is very likely that we will bring death upon you. The short and slightly stooped 10th Elder spoke solemnly. However, his eyes were extremely sharp. That's right, 10th Elder is right. The white-haired old man nodded and said, although that Yi Chunfeng is worth roping in, your safety is more important. Let us observe for a while longer. Yi Chunfeng, everything is over. The blue-robed old man, Xiao Wuhai, who had joined forces to heavily injure Yi Chunfeng and quickly chased into the sea, roared. A crane phantom appeared behind him. The crane bloodline in his body was completely activated, and he launched a thunderous attack at Yi Chunfeng. Crazy Demon Saber Technique. 18 overlapping saber lights slashed through the layers of sea water like rolling waves and chopped towards Yi Chunfeng with unstoppable momentum. Just as Yi Chunfeng was about to be hit by Xiao Wuhai's Crazy Demon Saber Technique, a black figure suddenly appeared in front of Yi Chunfeng, using his body to block the Crazy Demon Saber Technique. At the crucial moment, Yi Chunfeng summoned the sword puppet to block Xiao Wuhai's killing blow. Boundless saber lights exploded on the sword puppet's body. Wrath of divine punishment. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and stabilized the injuries on his body. Ancient cold profound ice, ancient extreme purple lightning, and abyssal extreme flames surged out of his body, once again forming a destructive light ball that bombarded Xiao Wuhai and the others. Boom, boom, boom. A thunderous sound rang out in the turbulent sea. Like a volcanic eruption, energy blasted open the sea surface and fiercely scattered Xiao Wuhai and the others. With the help of the sword puppet's defense, Yi Chunfeng immediately locked onto the class 4 Defiant Beast King closest to him. The golden rock wings flapped violently and quickly closed in on him. Judgment 7 Swords, Extreme Frost. 3 sword Dao patterns turned into Extreme Frost Sword Light, freezing the chaotic sea water and slashing over like a reverse waterfall. Not good. Sensing the terror of the Extreme Frost Sword Light, this class 4 Defiant Beast King's heart skipped a beat. He quickly put up a defense, and layers of defensive soul light condensed in front of him. However, the Extreme Frost Sword Light, filled with 3 sword Dao patterns, was extremely powerful. It bloomed with a sky-piercing radiance and directly pierced through his defense, bombarding his Heaven Artifact battle armor. The Heaven Artifact battle armor was forcefully torn apart, and a large amount of Extreme Frost Sword Light poured into his body. Judgment 7 Swords, Thunder Devour. Just as he was heavily injured, Yi Chunfeng continued to perform the second style of the 7 Swords of Judgment. The terrifying lightning sword slashed onto his heavily injured body, and with one slash he was sent flying out of the turbulent sea and into the air. This class 4 defiant beast king howled in pain as the thunder sword light surged into his body. Bang! Unable to withstand the thunder sword light's attack, his body exploded in a low-grade heaven artifact battle armor, and he died. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on bookmark at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 336. It's you two's turn, what? Yi Chunfeng killed a Class 4 Defiant Beast King while wearing a low-grade celestial battle armor? How is his attack power so terrifying? The 6th and 10th elders of the Bai clan were completely dumbfounded after witnessing the death of a Class 4 Defiant Beast King in Xingluo Sky City. It was as if they'd seen a ghost. Qing, are you sure that Yi Chunfeng was only a level 3 mystic beast ancestor a few months ago? The 6th elder took a deep breath and suppressed the shock in his heart as he asked. I can't be wrong. He really was only a Class 3 mystic beast ancestor a few months ago. Bai Ziqing nodded. Terrifying. Yi Chunfeng is too terrifying. The 6th elder sighed. With Yi Chunfeng's talent and strength, he's worth the risk. Then what are we waiting for? The stooped 10th elder laughed loudly and condensed a pair of red soul wings. Like a sharp sword, he and the 6th elder flew into the void at an extremely fast speed. Phew, I finally killed 3. After using the 7 swords of judgment to kill the 3rd Class 4 Defiant Beast King, Yi Chunfeng's burning life force slowly receded. Soon, his cultivation level began to drop. Yi Chunfeng died. Sha Wuhai, a Class 5 Defiant Beast King, and Xiegu Song, who had been killed by Yi Chunfeng 3 times in a row, felt utterly humiliated. He completely forgot about the order to capture Yi Chunfeng alive and wanted to kill him at all costs. Sha Wuhai, Xiegu Song, why don't the two of us play with you? At this moment, a peerless sword light broke through the surface of the sea. The 6th elder and 7th elder of the Bai clan appeared in the midst of the chaos. Bai Hongyu and Bai Gujian, it's you. Sha Wuhai and the other 2 elders' expressions turned ugly at the sudden appearance of the two. They hadn't expected the Bai clan to appear at such a crucial time. Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly. As he looked at Bai Hongyun and Xiao Chun, he tried to guess their intentions. Bai Hongyun, Bai Gujian, this is none of your business. If you know what's good for you, leave at once. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless. Sha Wuhai warned with a gloomy expression. He felt that the situation was already out of his control. Haha, ruthless. The hunchbacked Bai Gujian laughed loudly and said arrogantly, I will kill you today. With that, a sharp sword light filled with 2 sword-type Dao patterns shot out. It tore through the water and slashed towards the strongest Sha Wuhai. When Bai Gujian made his move, Bai Hongyun also made his move. However, the instant he made his move, he sent a voice transmission to the confused Yi Chunfeng. Don't doubt our intentions. Once we've dealt with them, we'll naturally tell you why we're helping you. All right. Yi Chunfeng nodded. He gritted his teeth and gulped down 2 mouthfuls of Spring of Life to recover his almost depleted life force. Then, he attacked the last Class 4 Defiant Beast King in Xingluo Sky City with the sword puppet. Blood Refinement Slash. Yi Chunfeng and the sword spirit puppet attacked. The blood-red battle blade in the hands of the star All-Heaven City's Grade 4 Defiant Beast King shone with a blinding blood-red light. It was like a blood-red moon slashing towards Yi Chunfeng. 8 Sha Azura Art, 3 Killing Halos. Yi Chunfeng's life force was quickly fading away, and his strength was greatly reduced. Facing the level 4 Defiant Beast King's Blood Refinement Slash, he quickly condensed 3 Killing Halos, which tripled his attack power. Eternal Night. 3 sword-type Dao patterns, 1,500,000 caddies of strength. The killing power surged into the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword. A dazzling sword light shot out, filled with chilling, killing intent, and slashed at the Blood Refinement Slash. Boom, boom, boom. When the 2 soul skills collided, the entire sea started to shake, and huge waves started to roll violently in the sea. PFF. Yi Chen-feng, whose strength had dropped to Class 2 Defiant Beast King, was immediately hit by the powerful aftershock. His body trembled, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The difference in strength was obvious. 8 Sha Azura Art. Third layer, for slaughter forms, final form. Where did you get the secret technique of my star, All Heaven City, that has never been passed down to outsiders? Seeing the 3 killing halos behind Yi Chen-feng, the Class 4 Defiant Beast King revealed an expression of disbelief. Even with his status in Xingluo Sky City, he didn't have the qualifications to cultivate the 8 Sha Azura Art for slaughter forms. While he was still in shock, the sword puppet quickly closed in and released a terrifying sword light that enveloped him. The sword puppet's defense was invincible, but the energy it could fuse with was limited. It could only display the power of a Class 1 Defiant Beast King. Helpless, Yi Chen-feng didn't hesitate to burn another 400 years of his lifespan. Borrowing the powerful life force, he forcefully raised his strength to a Class 3 Defiant Beast King. Star slaying, demon slaying, savage blood, eternal night. With his strength soaring, Yi Chen-feng quickly closed in on the Class 4 Defiant Beast King and used the 4 slaughter forms consecutively to suppress his ferocious attacks. His counterattack was completely blocked by the sword puppet's nearly invincible body. For a moment, he was surrounded by danger. On the other hand, the exhausted Xiao Wuhai and Bai Gujian were also suppressed by Bai Honyun and Bai Gujian's thunderous attacks. Large amounts of blood spurted out of their mouths. Defeat was only a matter of time. Wuhai, the situation here is out of our control. I suggest we leave this place first and slowly deal with them later. Siet Gusong, whose injuries were getting more and more serious, wanted to retreat. Okay. Xiao Wuhai gritted his teeth and unwillingly responded. Just as he looked at Yi Chen-feng with resentment, his pupils suddenly constricted. Under the sword puppet's freakish defense, Yi Chen-feng seized the opportunity and launched a fierce killing move. 3 sword Dao patterns turned into a giant thunderous sword that seemed to want to split heaven and earth. It slashed at the Class 4 Defiant Beast King with disdain. Bang! His defense was broken. The terrifying thunderous sword directly tore through his low-grade heaven artifact battle armor. The terrifying destructive power sent him flying out of the sea. Wrath of divine punishment. In the next moment, the 3 spiritual items rushed out of Yi Chen-feng's body and turned into a destructive light ball. It distorted the sea water and bombarded his heavily injured body like a meteor. For a moment, all sound in the world was swallowed by the explosion of the wrath of divine punishment. The terrifying, destructive storm swallowed the Class 4 Defiant Beast King, who was howling in pain, and directly blew his body to pieces. Only a dull, low-grade heaven artifact battle armor was left behind and fell to the sea. Dead, they're all dead. After witnessing the scene of the last Class 4 Defiant Beast King being killed by Yi Chen-feng, Xiao Wuhai and Xie Gusong's hearts fell into an abyss. They never expected this outcome. Even now, they still couldn't believe that a mere Class 5 Mystic Beast ancestor like Yi Chen-feng could kill the 4 Class 4 Defiant Beast Kings they brought with them. It's your turn now. Leave your lives behind. Yi Chen-feng quickly drank a mouthful of heavenly fate water and recovered his soul power. He and the sword puppet pierced through the blood-soaked sea water and quickly launched fatal attacks at the shocked Xiao Wuhai and Xie Gusong. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this book. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 337. Complete Annihilation. Insane Demon Saber Technique. Xiao Wuhai took a deep breath. He burned all the blood and qi in his body at all costs, increasing his strength as much as possible. In an instant, he slashed out 36 saber strikes, creating layers upon layers of saber mountains that slashed toward Bai Gujian. He wanted to force him back and escape quickly. Facing Xiao Wuhai's burning blood essence, and slashing out saber mountains. Even Bai Gujian felt a little pressure. Just as he condensed his sword Dao pattern to defend, the sword puppet suddenly appeared in front of him and used its indestructible body to block the insane Demon Saber technique's attack. What? Seeing his killer move that could instantly kill a Class 4 Defiant Beast King being easily blocked by the sword puppet's body, Xiao Wuhai's eyes widened and revealed a look of disbelief. Heavenly Ancient Sword. Seizing the opportunity when Xiao Wuhai was in a daze, Bai Gujian's entire body fused with the heavenly sword in his hand. He cut through all obstacles and stabbed towards Xiao Wuhai's chest. TSK. Xiao Wuhai's low-grade Heaven Tier battle armor was pierced by the Bai Gujian. Large amounts of blood spurted out, and his meridians were crushed by the destructive power of the sword light. Bai Gujian, even if I die, I will drag you down to hell with me. With his meridians crushed, Xiao Wuhai knew that he had lost the upper hand. Being proud and arrogant, he didn't choose to beg for mercy. Instead, he ignited all the soul power in his body and launched a final self-explosion attack towards Bai Gujian. Not good. Feeling the violent power from Xiao Wuhai's body and seeing him quickly approaching, Bai Gujian's expression changed drastically. He wanted to dodge, but at this moment, the sword puppet appeared in front of him again. With a powerful force, it slammed into Xiao Wuhai's body. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion erupted from Xiao Wuhai's body, forming a destructive mushroom cloud. It directly blasted open a vacuum in the turbulent sea and shot into the clouds, distorting a large area of space. What a terrifying puppet. What kind of material is this puppet made of? It's actually indestructible. Bai Gujian still had a lingering fear in his heart when he saw that the sword puppet's sturdy body was not damaged at all despite being hit by Xiao Wuhai's self-destruction head-on. He revealed a look of shock and became even more curious about Yi Qinfeng's identity and background. Xiao Wuhai, who was the strongest, had died. Xie Gu Song, who was being held back by Bai Hongyun and Yi Qinfeng, despaired. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that Xingluo Sky City would send out 6 high-level Defiant Beast Kings to capture a mystic beast ancestor realm brat. In the end, all of them were killed. Flame Dragon destroys the world. 3 dragons slash. Xie Gu Song used all his strength to withstand Bai Hongyun's ferocious attacks. 3 sword Dao patterns shot out from the titanic Fault Heavenly Sword. They transformed into 3 fiery dragons that were baring their fangs and brandishing their claws. They roared and crashed onto Xie Gu Song's body. The powerful attack forcefully deformed Xie Gu Song's low-grade Heaven Artifact battle armor. Large amounts of blood spurted out from his mouth. Just how many Dao skills has this Yi Qinfeng grasped? Sensing the power of the Flame Dragon destroys the world, Bai Hongyun did not doubt that this was also a Dao skill. The shock in his heart intensified. He felt that Yi Qinfeng was a bottomless pit. No one could guess how deep his foundation was. Self-destruction. Xie Gu Song's injuries continued to worsen. He knew that he had lost the upper hand and was powerless to reverse the situation. He crazily detonated all the soul power in his body and launched a final attack towards Yi Qinfeng and Bai Gujian. Wrath of Divine Punishment. Yi Qinfeng's soul spirit perception was extremely sharp. The moment Xie Gu Song self-destructed, ancient cold profound ice, dark extreme fire, and ancient extreme purple lightning surged out of his body. They transformed into a destructive light ball and bombarded Xie Gu Song's body at close range. Without waiting for Xie Gu Song to self-destruct, the destructive power of the destructive light ball blasted him away. Dozens of meters away from Yi Qinfeng and Yi Qingyu, Xie Gu Song's body exploded, turning into an endless amount of energy as he died. Sword Puppet, quickly collect their belongings. With the help of Bai Hongyun and Bai Gujian, Yi Qinfeng managed to kill Xiao Wuhai, Xie Gu Song, and the rest of the 6 people. Yi Qinfeng immediately ordered the Sword Spirit Puppet to retrieve the titanic Fault Heavenly Sword from the bottom of the sea, as well as collect the belongings of Xiao Wuhai and the rest. Thank you for your help. Yi Qinfeng knew that if not for Bai Hongyun and Bai Gujian's help, He would not have been able to kill Xiao Wuhai and Bai Gujian with his strength, even if he used the Life Soul technique and burned his life force. However, Yi Chenfeng still could not figure out why they had helped him. Yi Chenfeng, are you curious why we brothers suddenly took action and risked our lives to help you kill Xiao Wuhai and the others? Bai Hongyuan asked in a low voice when he saw the doubt in Yi Chenfeng's eyes. And very curious, Yi Chenfeng nodded and said, "Come with us. I'll bring you to meet two people. You'll know why we helped you then." Bai Hongyuan and Bai Gujian's soul wings appeared and broke through the rippling waves of the sea, flying back to the Bai family ship. As for the belongings of Xiao Wuhai and the others, Bai Hongyuan and Bai Gujian did not compete with Yi Chenfeng for them. Although the belongings of Xiao Wuhai and the others were precious, they felt that it was more important to befriend the talented Yi Chenfeng. Therefore, they decided to do him a big favor. "Young Master Yi, we meet again." When Yi Chenfeng followed Bai Hongyuan and Bai Gujian back to the Bai family ship, Bai Ziqing, who was wearing a long white dress, walked over and said in a pleasant voice, "It's you two." Seeing the beautiful faces of Bai Ziqing and Bai Gujian, Yi Chenfeng lowered his guard and revealed a trace of surprise on his face. "Yi Chenfeng, what did you eat growing up? How did you cultivate so quickly?" Bai Yu blinked her big eyes and looked at Yi Chenfeng with a burning gaze. Even now, she still could not believe that Yi Chenfeng had the strength to kill a Class 4 Defiant Beast King in just a few months. Don't be impudent." Bai Ziqing glared at the unruly Bai Yu and reprimanded her. She was afraid that she would anger Yi Chenfeng and ruin their goal of befriending Yi Chenfeng. "It's fine." Yi Chenfeng smiled faintly and said softly, "No matter what, I, Yi Chenfeng, will remember your kindness in my heart. I will definitely repay you in the future." Young Master Ye's words are too serious. Hearing Yi Chenfeng's promise, Bai Ziqing's exquisite face revealed a charming smile. She asked softly, "Young Master Yi, are you from our Xingluo continent?" "No, I'm from another place." Yi Chenfeng shook his head and said vaguely, "But if there's a chance, I will definitely go to the Xingluo continent." "Young Master Yi, we are from the Xingluo continents by clan. If young Master Yi comes to the Xingluo continent in the future, you must definitely come to our Bai clan as a guest, and let us do our best to host you." Hearing that Yi Chenfeng was unwilling to reveal his identity, the smart Bai Ziqing did not continue to ask. She revealed her group's identity. Bai clan, a rank 7 sacred ground. Yi Chenfeng had heard of the Bai clan from the 8th Slaughter Battle Emperor and knew that they were one of the overlords of the Xingluo continent. Their clan's strength was only inferior to Xingluo Sky City. "All right, if there's a chance, I will definitely go there." Yi Chenfeng nodded and said, "Yi Chenfeng, where are you planning to go now? Do you want us to give you a ride?" Bai Ziqing asked softly. "No need. I still have some matters to attend to. I won't take up any more of your time." Yi Chenfeng shook his head and tactfully declined. "All right, then we won't force young master to stay. However, the chaotic ocean is filled with dangers, and it would be inconvenient to travel without a ship. Coincidentally, we have a spare ship on our ship. We will gift it to young master." Bai Ziqing said cleverly. "All right, then I won't stand on ceremony." A ship was definitely what Yi Chenfeng needed the most at the moment. He did not reject Bai Ziqing's good intentions and accepted the ship. After bidding farewell to Bai Ziqing and the rest, he left. "Elder sister, is it worth it for us to help him like this?" Bai Yu said angrily as she watched Yi Chenfeng leave on the ship. "Yes, just the promise he made just now is worth it for us to do so much for him." Bai Ziqing said with a faint smile. "That's right, Qing'er is right. People like him who are blessed with great fortune are very important to their promises. This good karma will only bring benefits to our Bai clan and no harm. Perhaps you'll be the opportunity for our Bai clan to deal with Xingluo Sky City." Bai Hongyan said, "Yi Chenfeng, I will be waiting for you at the Bai clan. I hope that when we meet again, you will give me an even bigger surprise." Bai Ziqing's eyes flashed with an unfathomable light as she thought to herself. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 338. Chapter 338. New YORK Breakthrough. Level 6 Mystic Beast Master, Rumble. His voice was like thunder, and his momentum was like a wild horse galloping at the edge of the chaotic ocean. The sea breeze produced a loud rumbling sound, and huge waves that were dozens of meters high were raised. The entire space was like an ancient battlefield, and the terrifying aura made people feel like their insides were being torn apart. Yi Chunfeng stood on the bow of the 10-meter-long ship and welcomed the sharp sea breeze. 3 sword Dao patterns flew out from his body and condensed into a sharp light sword. He slashed down from the void and directly split the chaotic power that was surging towards him. Yi Chunfeng had cut open a gap at the edge of the chaotic ocean. The speedily speeding ship cut through the gap like a sharp sword. It passed through the chaotic ocean and quickly headed for 3 Stars Island. Phew, we should be safe now. After leaving the chaotic ocean, Yi Chunfeng felt relieved. He injected 1,000,000 low-grade soul crystals into the ship's engine room and ordered the sword puppet to guard the ship. He also took out the belongings of Sha Wuhai and the other 5. 6 low-grade offensive heaven artifacts, 6 low-grade defensive suits, 23 top-grade earth artifacts, 18,000 high-grade soul crystals, more than 60 million mid-grade soul crystals, 13 top-grade crafting crystals. Xingluo Heavenly City is indeed very strict about the soul incantations and soul skills that they have inherited. The 6 of them don't have a single scroll on them. However, these 13 heaven-rank soul pills are quite a haul. Yi Chunfeng discovered 13 heavenly pills that were not inferior to the Jade Marrow heavenly pills on Sha Wuhai and the others. He was pleasantly surprised. In addition to the 13 heaven-rank soul elixirs, Yi Chunfeng also found a semi-finished array diagram and a large amount of array refining materials. Yes, the eggs. At the end of the inspection, Yi Chunfeng found dozens of sesame-sized, 5-colored insect eggs in Xie Gu Song's spatial ring. He then thought of the mysterious insect eggs he had bought at the Tower of Slaughter and took them all out. I wonder if the Spring of Life can hatch these insect eggs. Yi Chunfeng placed these insect eggs in a white jade box and poured a thin layer of the Spring of Life over it. He then bit his finger and squeezed out a large amount of blood into the Spring of Life. He closed the jade box, sealed it with several array patterns, and stored it in his spatial ring to hatch. Phew, it's time to refine the dragon blood grass and dragon blood fruit and break through to the 6 mystic beast ancestor realm. Yi Chunfeng felt that he could definitely break through to the mystic beast ancestor realm now. He took out the dragon blood grass and dragon blood fruit that contained the power of the dragon blood. However, he didn't immediately consume these 2 natural treasures, which were even more precious than heaven-level soul elixirs. Instead, he quickly set up several restrictive formations in the cabin and took out the true fire furnace. He threw the 2 natural treasures into the true fire furnace to purify the impurities. After the impurities were purified, he would absorb and refine them so that their spirituality wouldn't be wasted. BZZ. BZZ. The dragon blood grass and dragon blood fruit quickly melted under the dark abyss extreme fire that was close to the power of the heavenly fire. The dragon blood grass and dragon blood fruit quickly melted and turned into a blood-like spirit liquid. Their color also became redder as the impurities disappeared. A large amount of refreshing fragrance spread out from the true fire furnace. About 6 hours later, the impurities in the 2 great spirit items had completely disappeared, turning into a bright red spirit juice that was like dragon blood. Just by smelling it, one would feel refreshed, and their spirit would multiply, making them feel extremely comfortable. What a powerful spirit energy. No wonder it is a spirit item that was born from the dragon blood. Yi Chunfeng was overjoyed when he felt the spirit essence contained in the spirit liquid in the true fire furnace. It was more than 10 times stronger than the heaven-rank soul elixir. If he absorbed this spirit liquid, his cultivation speed would definitely increase by leaps and bounds. He could definitely break through to the 6 mystic beast ancestor realm. Yi Chenfeng hugged the true fire furnace to his chest and quickly adjusted his state in preparation to absorb the spirit liquid. Soon, Yi Chenfeng felt that his body had reached its peak state. He opened his mouth and sucked out a small wisp of the spirit liquid. Suddenly, he felt a thick medicinal fragrance fill his mouth. It was like a nectar that was incomparably sweet. He couldn't help but swallow it down. So comfortable. When the spirit liquid that contained a faint heat slid down his throat into his stomach, it immediately released a rich spirit energy that flowed through his limbs and bones. It nourished his body, opened his pores, stretched his meridians, and made the cells in his body jump vigorously. It was as wonderful as ascending to immortality. However, this comfortable feeling didn't last for long. Yi Chenfeng's meridians were opened by the spirit energy released by the spirit liquid. His body also began to expand. Waves of tearing pain spread throughout his body. A large amount of dark red blood seeped out from his open pores. If Yi Chenfeng hadn't cultivated the 6 meridians divine shield to the great circle realm and his body had undergone a qualitative change, he wouldn't have been able to withstand the spirit energy released by the dragon blood. Soul-devouring tactics refine. Yi Chenfeng took a deep breath and cleared his mind of distracting thoughts. He quickly operated the soul-devouring tactics and crazily refined the spirit energy in his body to increase his strength. After about half a day, the spirit energy in Yi Chenfeng's body was gradually refined. He sucked in a small mouthful of the spirit liquid and merged it into his body. He continued to cultivate. Time passed day by day. Yi Chenfeng was in a state of emptiness. He forgot about time and space as he cultivated calmly. As the spirit liquid was continuously refined into his body, the soul power in his body increased rapidly. The two-headed blood dragon king in his mind also became more terrifying. I've already refined 2/3 of the spirit liquid, but I still haven't broken through to the level 6 mystic beast ancestor realm. The difficulty of breaking through is too great. Yi Chenfeng cultivated calmly until the 8th day and successfully refined 2/3 of the spirit liquid. However, the soul power in his body was still not full. If it were other mystic beast sect experts, they would have broken through by more than 2 levels. The difficulty of cultivation was far greater than ordinary people, but once one broke through, the benefits were also extremely obvious. This was also why Yi Chenfeng could kill people of a higher level. It was because his foundation was several times more terrifying than ordinary peerless kings. After about another 4 days, when Yi Chenfeng absorbed the last wisp of dragon blood-like spirit liquid from the true fire furnace into his body, the soul power in his body finally reached overflowing. The two-headed blood dragon king in his mind also grew to the limit of its realm. Level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor Realm Breakthrough. Yi Chenfeng condensed all the soul power in his body and broke through the bottleneck in one go, reaching the level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor Realm. In the next moment, endless dragon roars were released from his body, shaking the restrictions in the cabin violently. A large number of cracks spread on the surface of the restrictions. I've finally broken through. The moment he broke through, Yi Chenfeng opened his tightly closed eyes. 2 lightning-like eyes shot out, and his entire temperament changed again. His every move carried a suffocating pressure, and this kind of pressure could only be produced by a reverse Beast King expert. After breaking through to the level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor Realm, he felt that he could completely crush a level 2 reverse Beast King expert. After transforming into his Beast Soul form, he could even challenge a level 3 reverse Beast King. Just as Yi Chenfeng was intoxicated by the joy of breaking through, he unexpectedly discovered that a faint dragon power had appeared in his rich blood. Dragon's bloodline. A dragon's bloodline has actually appeared in my body. Sensing the changes in his body, Yi Chenfeng revealed a look of deep surprise. He never thought that after refining the dragon blood grass and dragon blood fruit, a second bloodline would miraculously appear in his body, the dragon's bloodline. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 339. Sword Dao First Heavenly Layer. I wonder how much my strength will increase after I ignite my dragon bloodline and transform into a beast soul form. Yi Chenfeng was very eager to know how much the dragon bloodline would increase his strength. He quickly left the cabin and went to the bow. Beast soul form. There was no one in the vast ocean, so Yi Chenfeng wasn't afraid of exposing his trump card. He merged with the two-headed blood dragon king and transformed into a beast soul form. His powerful soul power undulated, causing dense ripples to appear in the ocean breeze. Dragon bloodline, ignite. Yi Chenfeng roared and ignited the newly formed dragon bloodline in his body, increasing his strength to the limit of a rank 2 beast king. Slash. The terrifying dragon bloodline power and 3 sword Dao patterns poured out of his body, quickly fusing into a shocking sword. The sword might was so powerful that even the sky changed color. It slashed toward the azure ocean ahead with a force of 1,000 caddies. Rumble. The rippling ocean couldn't withstand Yi Chenfeng's sword attack and collapsed. The powerful sword might directly tore a bottomless trench several miles in the ocean. The sword intent that didn't dissipate for a long time turned the entire trench into a vacuum. It was very spectacular. Igniting the dragon bloodline has increased my strength by at least 30%. I wonder if refining that dragon egg can increase the density of my dragon bloodline further. As he spoke, Yi Chenfeng took out that extremely precious dragon egg. He wanted to drill a hole in it and absorb the energy to continue cultivating. He wanted to break through to the absolute king realm and increase the intensity of his dragon bloodline. Yi Chenfeng took out a supreme grade earth tier piercer from his spatial ring and poured 5 million gene of force into it before ruthlessly stabbing it into the surface of the dragon egg. Immediately, a powerful rebounding force was produced on the surface of the dragon egg and transmitted into his arm, causing it to become numb. I can't drill it? Yi Chenfeng opened his eyes wide and looked at the dragon egg in shock. He was shocked by the defensive power of its shell. I don't believe that I can't break you. Yi Chenfeng handed the dragon egg to the sword puppet while he took out the gigantic fault heavenly sword. He was going to use the sword power to break open the egg's shell. Sword type Dao pattern 1. 5 million gene of strength break. Yi Chenfeng yelled out. 3 sword Dao patterns and over 1.5 million kilograms of force were injected into the gigantic fault heaven sword. The sword pierced into the surface of the dragon egg in the sword puppet's hand like a hot knife through butter. Buzz. Facing Yi Chenfeng's sword attack, which was powerful enough to kill a peerless king, the surface of the dragon egg once again emitted a powerful rebounding force. Dense water ripples appeared in the space, shaking the speedily sailing ship violently. Not even the titanic fault heavenly sword can break through the defense of this dragon egg. Yi Chenfeng looked at the unscathed dragon egg in disbelief. He never thought that the dragon egg's defense would be so terrifying. Even when he was in his beast soul form and wielded a mid-grade celestial weapon, the titanic fault heavenly sword, he couldn't break through its defense. I don't believe it. Yi Chenfeng didn't give up. He ordered the sword puppet to soar into the sky. 8 Sha Azura Art, 3 slaughter halos. In the next moment, 3 slaughter halos appeared behind him. The white light of slaughter shot out and boosted his attack power. The 3 sword Dao patterns turned into an endless thunderstorm. The power of slaughter and 5 million gene of force were injected into the gigantic fault heavenly sword, activating 81 offensive array patterns. 7 swords of judgment, thunder, devour. Raising his strength to the limit, Yi Chenfeng ignited his thin dragon bloodline and executed his strongest move. The violent thunder whirlpool turned into a giant thunder sword that could split the sky and earth. It tore through the air and pierced into the dragon egg in the sword puppet's hand. Rumble! A huge explosion sounded in the sky. The terrifying sound was like the roar of a thunder god, shaking the 9 heavens. The eruption-like energy exploded on the surface of the dragon egg, twisting the space. The terrifying power made people want to kneel down and worship it. It instantly used up the energy of tens of thousands of mid-grade soul crystals in the sword puppet. What? It's still not enough? Could the defense of this dragon egg exceed a mid-grade heaven item? Yi Chen-feng saw that the dragon egg was still intact after receiving his strongest attack and immediately felt a trace of helplessness. Sigh, looks like I can only think of a way to break this dragon egg's defense in the future. Yi Chen-feng sighed helplessly and put the dragon egg into his yin-yang ring. He felt like he was guarding a treasure, but couldn't enter it. Unable to absorb the essence of the dragon egg to reach the absolute king level, Yi Chen-feng took out the low-grade heaven item Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor that he obtained from killing Sun Lei. He planned to repair it and increase his defense. I wonder if I can fuse the black turtle shell, 100 Frost Mysterious Iron, 7th Metal Stone, True Fire Stone, and Stone of Slaughter into the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor. Yi Chen-feng wasn't satisfied with the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor's level. He wanted to fuse a large number of refining treasures to increase its level. Although Yi Chen-feng didn't have much refining experience, fusing with the soul fragment in God Eater's brain gave him a lot of refining experience that many refining masters didn't have. Combining this experience and the dark extreme fire that was close to the heaven fire level, he started to repair the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor bit by bit. Time passed day by day. Under Yi Chen-feng's tireless repair, the black turtle shell fused into the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor and repaired the damage caused by the primal chaos energy. In addition to the upgrade of the 100 cold mysterious iron, 7th metal stone, true fire stone, and other top-grade refining crystals, and the fusion of nearly 100 defensive patterns, the quality of the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor had been greatly improved. It had really been upgraded to the level of a middle-grade heaven tool. Success. When Yi Chen-feng saw the Heavenly Lightning Battle Armor with the Black Tortoise King's tortoise shell embedded on his chest, he revealed a satisfied smile. With his battle armor, Yi Chen-feng's defense had increased greatly. In addition to the amplification of his dragon bloodline, Yi Chen-feng believed that even a Class 3 Defiant Beast King wouldn't be able to defeat him. After repairing the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor, Yi Chen-feng took out the other low-grade Heaven item battle armors. However, because he had limited top-grade refining treasures, Yi Chen-feng only managed to repair 3 low-grade Heaven item battle armors in the end. As for the other unrepaired low-grade Heaven item battle armors, he planned to sell them at an appropriate time to exchange for what he needed. Sailing in the vast sea was boring, but it was extremely precious to Yi Chen-feng. He removed all distracting thoughts from his mind and took out the sword steel he obtained from killing the blood-slaughtering sword monarch. He controlled God Eater's brain to release soul power into the sword steel to understand the sword Dao pattern in the sword steel. Soon enough, the God Eater's brain imprinted one sword Dao pattern in the sword steel under its powerful deduction. In addition to the 9 sword Dao patterns in the 9 dragon steel, there were a total of 10 sword Dao patterns in the God Eater's brain. If Yi Chen-feng could comprehend these 10 sword Dao patterns, he would be able to cultivate his sword Dao to the first heavenly layer, and his attack power would increase by another level. Rumble! Suddenly, a deafening sound of thunder rang out. The thick dark clouds were like thousands of soldiers and horses rushing over. The sunny sky was covered by dark clouds in an instant, turning the place dark. Soon, bean-sized raindrops began to pour down, and the sea became turbulent. Monstrous waves soared into the sky, slapping against the turbulent sea surface and jolting the speedily moving ship. In this violent storm, Yi Chen-feng, who was sitting on the deck of the ship, was motionless like a boulder. The dense raindrops were crushed by the sword Dao patterns around his body and couldn't stain his clothes at all. Suddenly, Yi Chen-feng opened his eyes. His sharp eyes were filled with crisscrossing sword Dao patterns, and a powerful sword aura soared into the sky. Sword Dao, first heavenly layer, slash. Yi Chen-feng soared into the sky, and 10 sword Dao patterns flew out from his body and gathered into a shocking and unparalleled giant sword. He slashed across the void and sliced through all obstacles. The sword slashed open a several dozen-mile-long sword scar in the dark clouds. It extended into the distance and didn't dissipate for a long time. The storm that was engulfing the world just now strangely disappeared just like that. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on bookmark at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 340. Heavenly Fire Sect. Are you ready? Success. The power of the first heavenly layer of the Sword Tao is truly astonishing. After witnessing the power of the first heavenly layer of the Sword Tao, Yi Chunfeng revealed a satisfied smile. He believed that with his attack power, an ordinary third-level Defiant Beast King would not be his match. After comprehending the first heavenly layer of the Sword Tao, Yi Chunfeng dove into the sea. He caught several fish and roasted them to fill his stomach. Then, he attempted to cultivate the third move of the Seven Sword of Judgment, Waning Moon. However, the Seven Sword of Judgment was a mid-grade Tao skill. It was extremely powerful. Even with the God-Eater brain, Yi Chunfeng found it extremely difficult to cultivate Waning Moon. Time quickly passed. After another half a month, Yi Chunfeng, who had been sailing in the North Sea for 3 months, finally saw a massive island the size of a continent. And this island was Shenyue Island, which was very close to 3-Star Island. Nikhang, are you okay? Yi Chunfeng stood at the bow of the ship, looking in the direction of 3-Star Island. He couldn't help but think of Yu Nichang's charming face. His lips curled up as he muttered to himself. At this time, Yu Nikhang was standing on the fine beach of 3-Star Island. She gazed at the boundless sea, anxiously waiting for Yi Chunfeng to return. It had already been 6 months since there had been any news of Yi Chunfeng. Yu Nikhang was filled with worry, and she had never missed a person so intensely before. The more you lost something, the more you understood how precious it was to have it. She was still unable to contact Yi Chunfeng. She was truly afraid that she would lose Yi Chunfeng forever. That unforgettable pain was becoming more and more intense. Chunfeng, please don't let anything happen to you. Yu Nikhang tightly bit her wet lips, constantly praying in her heart. She had been praying like this day after day for nearly 6 months. Suddenly, a speeding ship appeared in front of her eyes. When she saw the blurry figure standing at the bow of the ship, her entire body trembled as if she had been struck by lightning. A feeling that came from her soul told her that the blurry figure was the Yi Chunfeng that she had been waiting for. He's back. Chunfeng is finally back. 2 streams of hot tears flowed from the corners of her eyes and streaked across her beautiful face. The moment Yi Chunfeng returned, she cried and then smiled. Yu Nikhang saw Yi Chunfeng, and the sharp-eyed Yi Chunfeng also saw her. At the next moment, Yi Chunfeng summoned the golden rock wings and soared into the air, leaving behind a stream of piercing golden light as he flew toward Yu Nikhang at a speed that surpassed the speed of light. Chunfeng, Yu Nikhang recklessly ran over. The moment Yi Chunfeng landed on the beach, she fiercely threw herself into his arms and tightly hugged his body, afraid that he would leave her. Nikhang, I'm back. I've made you worry. Yi Chunfeng gently stroked Yu Nichang's soft, jet-black hair and sensed her slightly trembling body. He bent his head next to her ear and said apologetically, "Don't say anything else. Let me hug you properly for a while." Yu Nikhang tightly leaned her head against Yi Chunfeng's chest, feeling his body temperature, and tears uncontrollably flowed down her cheeks. After some time, Yu Nichang's tears dried up. She silently glanced at Yi Chunfeng and reluctantly left Yi Chunfeng's warm embrace. "Nikhang, I have a gift for you." Yi Chunfeng looked at Yu Nikhang, whose cheeks were slightly red and had an unnatural expression. He smiled and took out the low-grade celestial blood demon sword that he had obtained from killing the blood-slaughtering Sword King and gave it to Yu Nikhang. Low-grade celestial artifact. Yu Nikhang was deeply astonished as she stroked the patterns on the blood demon's sword and sensed its power. Even in her clan, It was very difficult for an ordinary peerless king to possess a celestial artifact. Nick Hang, aren't you moved? Yi Chenfeng looked at Yu Nichang's excited appearance and smiled. I have an even more precious treasure for you. Yi Chenfeng took out a low-grade celestial artifact, the Ice Spirit Battle Suit, that he had repaired, and gave it to Yu Nichang. Low-grade celestial artifact battle suit. Sensing the level of the Ice Spirit battle armor, Moon Raiment raised her eyebrows and exclaimed, Yi Chenfeng, what level of expert did you kill to obtain these two celestial artifacts? Yu Nichang asked in a daze. A person who could possess two celestial artifacts was definitely not an ordinary expert. Let's go. We'll talk as we walk. When we see Yu Yin, we'll give her something. Then, we'll return to the North Snow region and take revenge on the Heavenly Fire sect. Yi Chenfeng took the initiative to hold Yu Nichang's soft, white hand. He briefly recounted his encounter in the Tower of Slaughter as they walked towards the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. Although Yi Chenfeng had concealed a lot of the truth, Yu Nichang's heart was in turmoil when she learned that Yi Chenfeng had killed the kings from the 3rd to the 5th floor of the Tower of Slaughter, passed all the tests of the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus, obtained the title of Sword God, and escaped the pursuit of the King of Slaughter. Chenfeng, you might really be able to become an emperor, Yu Nichang said with some excitement. Emperor-level powerhouse? That might just be my starting point. Yi Chenfeng smiled and said domineeringly. Yi Chenfeng, who had slowly come into contact with the Heaven Domain, knew that emperors were at the top of the pyramid in the Duohan continent. However, they were nothing in the Heaven Domain. Since he was determined to pursue the Great Tao, the Duohan continent was just his starting point. When Yi Chenfeng and Yu Nichang arrived at the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance hand in hand, Mo Yu Yin and the others, who had already received the news, were already waiting outside. Seeing the two of them holding hands so intimately, Mo Yu Yin's eyes revealed a trace of absent-mindedness and envy. Chenfeng, you finally returned safely. Mo Yu Yin quickly adjusted her state of mind. Then, she quickly walked up to him and revealed a faint smile. Yin, let's find a quiet place. I have something for you. Yi Chenfeng looked at Mo Yu Yin, who was wearing a jade-green silk dress. Her figure was tall and slender, and she was radiant under the sunlight. Okay. Mo Yu Yin nodded and brought Yi Chenfeng and Mo Yu Yin to her room. Yu Yin, remember not to spread the news of me going to the Chaotic Ocean and Slaughter City. Otherwise, I'm afraid it will bring a destructive disaster to your ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. After sitting down, Yi Chenfeng took a sip of the jade-green tea that Mo Yu Yin had personally poured for him and warned her seriously. Don't worry, Chenfeng. Only Elder Mei and I know about you going to the Chaotic Ocean. She won't speak carelessly. Mo Yu Yin nodded and assured him. That's good. Yu Yin, this is my gift to you. 1 Heaven-class Soul Core, 5 Earth-class Soul Cores, 1 top-quality Earth-rank Heart-protecting Mirror, 1 top-quality Earth-ranked Frostwood Sword, and 1 Heaven-class low-grade Soul Technique and Soul Skill. Yi Chenfeng took out a spatial ring that he had prepared beforehand and gave it to Mo Yu Yin. Chenfeng, these gifts are too precious. I can't accept them. Hearing Yi Chenfeng's gift, Mo Yu Yin was deeply shocked. Just the value of the Heaven-grade Soul Core alone was enough to bankrupt the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. Yu Yin, there's no need to be so courteous between us. Develop the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance well. Perhaps one day, I'll be able to rely on you. Yi Chenfeng smiled gently and forcefully stuffed the universe ring into her soft hands. Okay, if that day really comes, I won't hesitate to go through water and tread on fire. Mo Yu Yin bit her lips and promised in a firm tone. Yi Chenfeng stayed in the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance for 10 days. In these 10 days, he helped Mo Yu Yin unblock her meridians and absorb an Earth-grade Soul Core, establishing a good cultivation foundation. He also helped her comprehend a Heaven-grade low-grade Soul Art and Soul Skill. After being on the run for 43 months, which was nearly 1,300 days, Yi Chenfeng had broken through to the 6th rank of the profound Beast Ancestor realm and was now able to face a 3rd-ranked Defiant Beast King head-on. He finally set foot on his journey back to the North Snow region. Heavenly Fire Sect, I'm back. Are you ready? Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this book. You'll be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 341. Yu Nichang's identity early in the morning. A red sun slowly rose from the east, rendering the blue sea enchanting and mysterious. A few seagulls flew in the wind, displaying their beautiful dance. Chengfeng, what are you thinking about? Yu Nichang, wearing a bright red silk dress, with her jet black hair fluttering in the wind, exuded an enchanting charm as she slowly walked to Yi Chunfeng's side on the deck. She stood shoulder to shoulder with him and softly asked, "I'm thinking about returning home." Yi Chunfeng looked into the distance and slowly said, "All right, Nichang, I still have something for you." As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng took out 2 white jade brocade boxes from his spatial ring and handed them to Yu Nichang. "This is..." Yu Nichang opened the brocade boxes and immediately a refreshing fragrance wafted out. "Here are 2 marrow cleansing pellets and 2 heaven-rank soul pellets. They are enough to help you break through to the 6th level of the mystic beast ancestor realm and cultivate the marrow refinement realm to the large success stage." Yi Chunfeng said softly. "Chunfeng, thank you." Holding the 2 white jade brocade boxes, Yu Nichang's heart was filled with gratitude and happiness. What Yi Chunfeng gave her was something her family could never give her. "Let's go, Nichang. Let's go back to the cabin. I'll help you refine the marrow cleansing pills and refine your bone marrow." Time passed day by day. While the moon raiment was refining the marrow cleansing pill and tempering his bone marrow, Yi Chunfeng didn't slack off either. He started to cultivate the 3 high-grade heaven-class soul skills that he had carefully chosen: the soul-suppressing tablet, the Lion King's roar, and the Thunderbolt flash, to increase his foundation. Very quickly, 3 months passed. After 3 months of secluded cultivation, Yu Nichang refined 4 priceless elixirs and successfully broke through to the 6th level of the Mystic Beast Grandmaster realm. She also cultivated the last level of the 6 Meridian Divine Shield, the Marrow Refining Realm, to the realm of great success. Her physical strength had reached an astonishing strength of 1,200,000 kilograms. On the other hand, Yi Chunfeng had completely grasped all 3 of his high-grade heaven-rank soul skills, and had also grasped the 3rd move of his 7 Swords of Judgment, Waning Moon. After a few more days, Yi Chunfeng, who was standing on the deck of the ship, vaguely saw a vast and boundless continent through the gently moving fog on the surface of the sea. A look of pleasant surprise appeared on his face. Yi Chunfeng, who had been chased by the Sky Fire sect for nearly 4 years, finally returned to the North Snow County. When the speeding seagoing envoy entered a small harbor not far ahead, Yi Chunfeng suddenly noticed that Yu Nichang's expression was a little strange, so he asked with concern, "Nichang, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well?" "I'm fine. Don't worry about me." Yu Nichang shook her head and squeezed out a trace of a smile as she said with a heavy heart, "Are you really okay?" Yi Chunfeng asked worriedly. During the 3 months on the ship, although they didn't break through the layer of window paper and become intimate lovers, they occupied the most important position in each other's hearts. "I'm really okay." Yu Nichang returned to her normal state and said with a smile, "It's good that you're okay. Let's go. We'll get off the ship and eat something. We'll have a good rest first." Yi Chunfeng took the initiative to hold Yu Nichang's ice-cold little hand and suggested softly, Yu Nichang nodded and followed Yi Chunfeng to a small town with a pleasant scenery, surrounded by mountains and rivers, which wasn't very large. "Chunfeng, is this sea breeze city a city of mortals?" After walking through the city gate that was full of moss, Yu Nichang felt that the people walking on the Bluestone Road were very weak and asked softly, "If I remember correctly, this sea breeze city belongs to the Zijin Kingdom. It's a city of mortals." Yi Chunfeng, who grew up in the Zijin Kingdom, was very familiar with the Zijin Kingdom. He nodded and said, "This is the first time I've come to a city of mortals. Chunfeng, can you accompany me and take a good look around here?" Looking at the simple and elegant bamboo buildings on both sides of the street, the winding corridors, and the slowly flowing stream, Yu Nikhang immediately fell in love with this place and suggested softly, "Okay." Yi Chenfeng nodded and held Yu Nichang's soft little hand. Like a lover, they intimately strolled around Sea Breeze City, admiring the local customs and tastes of many local delicacies. "Nikhang, that bamboo forest is not bad. Let's go there to have some tea and rest." Yi Chenfeng, who was in a good mood, pointed to a nearby tea house in the bamboo forest and suggested softly, "All right." Yu Niking nodded and walked side by side with Yi Chenfeng towards the tea house, surrounded by the bamboo forest. As they walked, a jade plaque in Yu Nichang's bosom suddenly trembled, and her face changed. In the next instant, Yi Chenfeng's sharp senses detected 4 powerful auras appearing. 2 of them were actually the rare kings of the North Snow region. Just as Yi Chenfeng was wondering why such powerful kings would appear in such a small city of mortals, 2 extremely fast-level 4 heavenly beasts with long tails appeared. "Young miss, we finally found you." 4 old men dressed in black robes with gold edges and emanating thick demonic aura jumped off from the black lawns. Appearing in front of the pail, faced Yu Nikhang as they spoke softly. "You guys came so quickly." Yu Nikhang took a deep breath and said bitterly, "Young miss, you've disappeared for almost 4 years, and the family head has been looking for you crazily." "And who are you? How dare you?" Young Miss's hand is not for you to hold. A tall old man with a black serpent tattoo on his forehead noticed the 2 of them holding hands, and his face sank. A powerful demonic aura emanated from his body, and like an enraged lion, he pounced towards Yi Chenfeng. "6 protectors, stop!" Yu Nikhang saw the black-robed old man suddenly take action and did not hesitate to block in front of Yi Chenfeng, releasing a powerful soul power to disperse the demonic aura. "Rank 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor. Young miss, you've broken through to rank 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor." Sensing Yu Nichang's strength, the black-robed old man and the others were startled, revealing deep shock. They did not dare to believe that Yu Nikhang had broken through from rank 6 Heavenly Beast Immortal to rank 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor in less than 4 years. "If anyone dares to be impudent, don't blame me for being impolite." Yu Nikhang regained her arrogant attitude and coldly warned, "You guys wait for me here. I'll be right back." After speaking, Yu Nikhang took the initiative to grab Yi Chenfeng's arm and brought him to the lush bamboo forest. "Nikhang, are they here to pick you up?" Yi Chenfeng asked softly. I'm leaving. I'm going back to the family." Yu Nikhang looked tenderly at Yi Chenfeng and reluctantly said, "You must take good care of yourself. If there's time, I'll sneak out to look for you." "Nikhang, where did you come from?" Yi Chenfeng hesitated and could not help but ask about her identity. "Chenfeng, I can tell you my identity, but you must promise me, before you have the strength of an emperor, don't look for me. Otherwise, you will lose your life." Yu Nikhang gently bit her alluring red lips and solemnly warned, "Nikhang, could it be that you came from a rank 7 Holy Land?" Yi Chenfeng raised his eyebrows and guessed, "Not a rank 7, but in rank 8 Holy Land." Yu Nikhang shook her head and said, "Rank 8 Holy Land. You're from the Eastern Continent's Yu family." Yi Chenfeng's heart trembled. He never imagined that Yu Nichang's background would be so great. "That's right, I do come from the Eastern Continent's Yu family, and I'm the daughter of the current head of the Yu family. Our family cultivates the demonic Tao, and my father and grandfather are very resistant to people from other factions. Chenfeng, promise me, before you have enough strength, don't look for me in the Yu family, otherwise your life will be in danger." Yu Nikhang tightly grabbed Yi Chenfeng's arm and begged him bitterly. "All right." Yi Chenfeng took a deep breath and helplessly agreed. "Chenfeng, I'm already used to having you by my side, and I really don't want to part with you." Yu Nikhang took the initiative to hug Yi Chenfeng's body and buried her head in his chest as she spoke reluctantly. "Nikhang, be good and wait for me in the Yu family. In 10 years at the latest, I'll bring the betrothal gifts to the Yu family to propose marriage. At that time, No one will be able to stop us from being together. Yi Chunfeng gently stroked her soft, jet-black hair and made a domineering promise. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you forever. After she finished speaking, Yu Nikhang gently tiptoed and wrapped her arms around Yi Chunfeng's neck and kissed Yi Chunfeng fiercely for a long time. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You'll be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 342. Killing you like killing a dog, miss. It's getting late. Let's go back. When Yi Chunfeng and Yu Nishang were kissing each other, a cold voice suddenly entered Yu Nishang's ears, urging her in a low voice. Chunfeng, I'm leaving. Take care of yourself. I'll wait for you at the Yu family. Yu Nikhang reluctantly separated from Yi Chunfeng. She looked at him affectionately, trying her best to imprint his appearance in the depths of her mind. Then, she hardened her heart and left. Very soon, 2 rapid bird cries rang out. 2 black phoenixes with a wingspan of over 10 meters raised terrifying gusts of wind and soared into the sky. Under the terrified gazes of the residents of Sea Breeze City, they flew further and further away until they disappeared into the horizon. Don't hide anymore. Come out. Just as Yu Nichang's group left, Yi Chunfeng's deep eyes looked at a dark corner of the bamboo forest and coldly said, Interesting. I didn't expect you to be able to discover me with your cultivation. A short, black-robed man with 2 vipers tattooed on his arms walked out from a dark corner. He was a level 1 Defiant Beast King, and he was a level 1 Defiant Beast King. He bared his white teeth and said viciously, You're also a member of the Yu family, right? Yi Chunfeng said indifferently as he looked at Xiao Chan with blazing eyes. Brat, I found that you're quite bold. How can a nobody like you touch the princess of my Yu family? The short man walked over with heavy steps and fiercely said, In order to prevent you from harassing the miss in the future, I can only send you to hell in advance. You think you can? Yi Chunfeng snorted and said disdainfully. After breaking through to level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor, Yi Chunfeng didn't even fear level 3 Defiant Beast Kings, let alone a level 1 Defiant Beast King. Brat, I'll let you know my method soon. As he spoke, a powerful murderous aura erupted from his body and engulfed Yi Chunfeng in an earth-shattering manner. Kneel for me. Suddenly, the baleful aura engulfing Yi Chunfeng quickly condensed and pressed down on him like a mountain, wanting to force him to his knees. You're too naive. Yi Chunfeng ignored the baleful aura and sneered. As he spoke, a powerful physical strength erupted from Yi Chunfeng's body and directly dispersed the baleful aura released by the short man. The short man's expression changed. He didn't think that Yi Chunfeng, who was only a level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor, would have such terrifying physical strength. He was able to easily break through the pressure of the baleful aura he released. Interesting. Looks like I need to be more serious. The short man's expression instantly turned cold. 100-meter-long, brightly colored snake appeared behind him, amplifying his soul power. Is be serious? With your strength, I can kill you as easily as killing a dog. As he spoke, a thunderous sound came from under Yi Chunfeng's feet. His entire body turned into flowing lightning and attacked the short man at a speed that was hard to be seen by the naked eye. You're courting death. As Yi Chunfeng attacked with lightning, the short man's eyes flashed with killing intent. The Qinquan ring on his finger flashed with purple light, and a dark purple spear appeared in his hand. He stabbed at Yi Chunfeng's chest. Yi Chunfeng's chest was pierced through by the short man's spear. Not good. After piercing Yi Chunfeng's chest, the short man wasn't happy. Instead, he was shocked because this spear didn't hit Yi Chunfeng, but a fast afterimage. Lion King's roar. Using lightning flash, Yi Chunfeng dodged the short man's spear attack. A powerful sound wave shot out from Yi Chunfeng's mouth, instantly forming a terrifying lion's head. It roared at the short man. Buzz! After being attacked by Yi Chunfeng's Lion King's roar, the careless short man felt his soul tremble. His mind went blank for a moment, and his reaction slowed down. Soul-quelling tablet. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Chen-feng roared. A huge hand holding the soul-quelling tablet flew out, bringing with it an unparalleled pressure. It bombarded the short man's body at close range. PFFF. Although the short man was wearing a top-grade Earth-tier battle armor, he still couldn't defend against the soul-quelling tablet's attack. His body took a heavy blow, and a large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. He was seriously injured. Your strength is only SOSO. Because of you, Nick Hang, Yi Chen-feng didn't kill the short man. Looking at the short man who was spurting blood and retreating, he sneered coldly. Heavenly Demon Dance Art, Demon King's Physique. The short man didn't expect Yi Chen-feng to be so difficult to deal with. He was no longer careless and decisively executed the Yu family soul art. Endless demonic aura poured out from his body and dyed the air black. Transform. Seeing the short man's body expanding in an instant, Yi Chen-feng was slightly surprised. No wonder you are a rank 8 sacred ground. Your foundation is indeed terrifying. Go to hell, brat. After transforming into the Demon King's physique, the short man's strength increased tremendously. He roared, and the purple spear in his hand was like a rolling purple dragon, thrusting towards Yi Chen-feng. Sword Dao, First Heaven, Fiery Dragon destroys the world. The purple spear light tore through the air and attacked. 10 sword Dao patterns flew out from Yi Chen-feng's body and merged into the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword. They turned into 4 fierce fiery dragons and clashed with the purple spear light. Boom, boom, boom. 4 deafening explosions resounded. The purple spear light was directly destroyed by the flame dragon's world annihilation, which was filled with 10 sword Dao patterns. The terrifying remaining power ruthlessly bombarded the short man's body, directly sending him flying and landing heavily on ground. Sword Dao, First Heaven. You actually comprehended the Sword Dao, First Heaven. The short man covered his injured chest and struggled to get up from the ground. He looked at Yi Chen-feng as though he was looking at a monster and exclaimed. The supreme-grade, Earth-grade battle armor that he was wearing was deformed by the fiery dragon destroys the world. Cracks appeared on the surface of the Demon King's physique. I'll count to 3. Disappear from my sight immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for not going easy on you. Yi Chen-feng looked at the short man with cold eyes and warned him coldly. Damn it, don't be so arrogant. I will let you know the true terror of a peerless king tier. The short man was enraged by Yi Chen-feng's words. He roared and activated the power of his bloodline, executing his killer move. Devil-slaying finger. A large amount of devil light gushed out from the Demon King's physique and formed a pitch-black finger. It crushed the layers of air and pressed towards Yi Chen-feng's chest with immense pressure. Dao skill. Feeling the power of the Dao pattern in the devil-slaying finger, Yi Chen-feng's eyes contracted. 10 sword Dao patterns broke out from his body again and turned into extreme cold sword light, clashing with the finger in extremely fast speed. Boom! Once the 2 Dao skills made contact, they immediately released a destructive force. The ground in a radius of a few miles was filled with cracks, and the entire bamboo forest was turned into ruins. Not good. When a short man saw that the devil-slaying finger only lasted for 3 breaths of time before it was shattered by the extreme cold sword light, his expression changed drastically. He wanted to dodge. However, at this moment, Yi Chen-feng appeared behind him with a thunder flash. He burst out with 5 million kilograms of force and slammed into the short man's body, pushing him towards the extreme cold sword light. PFFF. After being hit by the extreme cold sword light, the supreme-grade Earth artifact battle armor that the short man was wearing was immediately shattered. He spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground heavily. He had almost lost the ability to fight. Now you can get lost, Yi Chen-feng said coldly as he looked coldly at the short man who was severely injured. For the sake of Nick Hang, I can spare you once or twice. But if you still don't know what's good for you, then don't blame me for being merciless. Yi Chen-feng said with killing intent. Fine. You win. Feeling the killing intent from Yi Chenfeng's blood and bones, the short man was terrified. He had a feeling that Yi Chenfeng wasn't trying to scare him. He didn't dare to provoke Yi Chenfeng anymore. He endured the severe injuries on his body and left in a sorry state. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 343. Purple Spirit. Not bad. The drizzle was like countless silkworms spitting out silver silk, floating in the air. It was misty and lingering. Sigh. I hope they won't be implicated by me and be persecuted by the Heavenly Fire sect. After leaving the Sea Breeze City, Yi Chenfeng didn't immediately head to the Heavenly Fire sect for revenge. Instead, he came to the Purple Gold Imperial City to see how the Yi clan and Qian Daobai, whom he was indebted to, were doing. The Purple Gold Imperial City has developed so quickly these few years. It has actually become so prosperous. Walking on the familiar streets of the Violet Gold Imperial City, looking at the newly built pavilions and courtyards, as well as the scholars and beauties on the streets, Yi Chenfeng felt that the Violet Gold Imperial City shouldn't be affected. He heaved a sigh of relief and headed straight for the Yi clan's old residence. Did something joyous happen in the Yi clan? Arriving outside the Yi clan's old residence, Yi Chenfeng realized that the Yi clan's old residence was filled with a joyous atmosphere, as if something joyous had happened. Hurry up and carry these red silk and lanterns into the residence. Let the maids continue decorating the residence. If we miss the celebration for the eldest miss, the old master will not forgive us. A white-haired old man, wearing a white silk robe, urged anxiously. Housekeeper Jiang, what do you think the eldest miss will get in the Purple Gold Marshal House's year-end competition? A green-robed servant wiped the sweat off his forehead and asked curiously. With the eldest miss's talent, she should be able to get into the top 3. The white-robed old man said proudly. Top 3? Doesn't that mean the eldest miss has a high chance of breaking through to the Earth Beast General Realm? The green-robed servant said enviously. The Earth Beast General Realm is nothing. I think the eldest miss can become a heavenly beast immortal expert. Someone added, all right, let's stop talking nonsense. Let's send the purchased items back to the residence first. The white-robed old man urged with a smile. Uncle Jiang, looking at the white-robed old man giving orders from afar, Yi Chenfeng immediately recognized him as the Yi clan's old housekeeper, Uncle Jiang. Looks like the Heavenly Fire sect hasn't gone crazy enough to take revenge on the mortals. After listening to the conversation between Uncle Jiang and the others, Yi Chenfeng was basically certain that the Yi family had not been implicated and suffered the Heavenly Fire sect's revenge. Violet Spirit is holding a martial arts competition. I wonder where the Violet Gold Marshal House is located. Yi Chenfeng muttered to himself. His body flickered and disappeared from the Yi clan's residence like a ghost, heading towards the Heavenly Flame Marshal House located in the Violet Cloud Mountains. When Yi Chenfeng arrived at the original location of the Heavenly Flame Marshal House, he discovered that the plaque hanging above the entrance of the Marshal House had been changed to the Violet Gold Marshal House. So, the Violet Gold Marshal House is the original Heavenly Fire Marshal House. The Heavenly Fire sect has left the Violet Gold country. Yi Chenfeng stood outside the Violet Gold Marshal House as he watched the invitations enter the Marshal House. In a flash, he transformed into a gust of wind and entered the Marshal House. Senior Marshal Brother Su, did you notice a blurry shadow passing by us? The moment Yi Chenfeng flew into the Violet Gold Marshal House, a disciple who was in charge of checking the invitations rubbed his eyes and asked in horror, Don't be so paranoid. How could there be a shadow in broad daylight? The older disciple rolled his eyes and continued with his work. It's so lively. I wonder who is the current Marshal House master? Yi Chenfeng entered the Marshal House with ease and familiarity. He discovered that the Marshal House was filled with people. The spectator stands were also filled with people. Among them, the Yi family's patriarch Yi Qingxuan, the Ji family's patriarch Ji Yanzheng, the Bai family's patriarch Bai Shishan, and other influential figures of the Violet Gold Country were sitting on the main stands, drinking tea and discussing something. Senior Marshal Brother Lin. Suddenly, a familiar figure appeared in front of Yi Chenfeng. This person was none other than Lin Fuxin, who had entered the true spirit realm with Yi Chenfeng and Fu Yue. Senior Marshal Brother Lin wouldn't be the martial house master, right? Yi Chenfeng smiled faintly as he looked at Lin Fuxin, who was wearing a dark purple silk robe and sitting in the center of the main spectator stand. She was a grade 6 Earth Beast General. All right, everyone quiet down. I will now announce the rewards for this year's examination. Seeing that the stands were filled with people, the tall and sturdy Lin Fuxin slowly stood up and said in a deep voice, "This year's Violet Gold Martial House's rewards are much more generous than before. The first place will not only receive a spirit-level soul pill, but also a supreme-grade spiritual weapon. The second place will receive a spirit-level soul pill, and the third place will receive a supreme-grade spiritual weapon," Lin Fuxin announced loudly. Hearing the Violet Gold Martial House's rewards, it caused an uproar in the stands. Almost everyone revealed a look of envy. Damn, the reward for the first place is so generous. Even I am envious. A dark-skinned, burly man said longingly. What's the use of being envious? Even if you were given a chance, would you be able to get first place? His words immediately attracted a lot of rolling eyes. Who do you think will get first place this year? I can't guess who will get first place, but I can guess who has the most support. A tall, scholarly man said with a smile. Who has the most support? The dark-skinned, burly man asked curiously. Are you stupid? The one with the most support is definitely the Yi family's princess, Yi Xiling. I heard that even the emperor has adopted her. I wonder which lucky guy will be able to marry her. Hearing the discussions of the crowd, Yi Chenfeng's lips curled up slightly, revealing a faint smile. He never thought that Yi Xiling would become the lover of the masses after not seeing her for so many years. Soon, the Violet Gold Martial House's year-end examination began. One by one, eager disciples of the Martial House drew lots and began to compete fiercely. Seeing the disciples of the Martial House fighting fiercely on the battle stage, Yi Chenfeng couldn't help but think of himself 4 years ago, thinking of the incomparably cold and elegant Fu Yue. Senior Fu, I wonder if you're doing well? Yi Chenfeng muttered to himself, equally worried about Fu Yue's safety. As he thought about it, suddenly, a burst of excited cheers pulled him back to reality. Dressed in a bright red martial arts robe, her skin as fair as jade, her features elegant and graceful, her tall figure bathed in a faint golden glow under the rays of the sun, Yi Xiling stepped onto the stage. A 6th-grade beast illusionary master. Looks like there's a need to raise my powers to purple spirit. Thinking of the help Yi Xiling had given him in the past, Yi Chenfeng decided to help her raise her powers to the level of an Earth Beast General before he left. The moment Yi Xiling made her move, she immediately launched a fierce attack. The sharp shadows of her sword interweaved to form an airtight sword wind, forcing her opponent to retreat repeatedly. In less than 10 breaths, Yi Xiling's opponent had lost the battle. I told you Yi Xiling was the most powerful. My goddess would definitely take first place. A young man said excitedly, his eyes filled with infatuation. Although Yi Xiling's powers are not bad, but it's almost impossible for her to take first place. Even getting into the top 3 would require a certain amount of luck. Yi Chenfeng said from within the crowd, "Damn it, where did this wild brat come from? How dare he doubt Goddess Purple Spirit's powers and speak ill of her? Do you believe we'll tear your mouth off?" Hearing Yi Chenfeng's insistence on Yi Xiling's powers in front of everyone, Yi Xiling's supporters were immediately displeased, and they glared at him angrily, warning him fiercely. I never thought that Purple Spirit's powers would be so great. Seeing the ferocious gazes all around him, Yi Chenfeng laughed bitterly and did not say another word. The Violet Gold Martial House's year-end examinations were in full swing, and very quickly, the top 3 were decided. Yi Xiling had really managed to break into the top 3 with her exceptional performance. But her 2 opponents were both highly skilled Earth Beast generals. In the end, because Yi Xiling's powers were not up to par, she lost 2 matches in a row and ended up in 3rd place, causing many people to feel pity for her. Just as the slightly pale-faced Yi Xiling leapt off the battle stage, a familiar voice sounded in her ears. Purple Spirit, not bad. I give you 9 points. Mobile reading website, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 344. Bestowing Treasures. What a familiar voice. Could it be him? He's back. Yi Qinfeng's voice echoed in Yi Xiling's ears. Yi Xiling was stunned. Her beautiful eyes widened and her heartbeat suddenly accelerated. She looked around and excitedly searched for Yi Qinfeng. What's wrong? What's wrong with my goddess? Who is she looking for? Her face is red from excitement. Could be her sweetheart? Our goddess has a sweetheart? My heart is broken. Seeing Yi Xiling's strange actions, the entire viewing platform became noisy. Everyone was discussing spiritedly. Suddenly, Yi Xiling saw a young man in a white robe. His body was as straight as a steel spear, his eyes were as deep as the sea, and his delicate face had a faint smile. Her pupils shrank as she ran over excitedly. Following the direction Yi Xiling ran in, Lin Fuxin, Yi Qingchuan, and the rest also noticed Yi Qinfeng and stood up one after another. They never expected that Yi Qinfeng, who had disappeared for nearly 4 years after being hunted down by the Skyfire sect, would return. Xiling, I didn't expect that after not seeing you for 4 years, you'd become even more beautiful. You'd become a lover of the masses. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said half-jokingly as he looked at Yi Xiling, who had beautiful curves and limpid eyes as she dashed over. Go to hell. Yi Xiling rolled her eyes at him and asked excitedly, Qinfeng, when did you come back? I just came back not long ago. I heard that you were competing, so I came to see you. Yi Qinfeng smiled. As he spoke, Lin Fuxin, Yi Qingchuan, and the rest quickly walked over and surrounded Yi Qinfeng, exchanging pleasantries. Damn, who is that person? He seems to be very awesome. Yi Qinfeng, could he be the former #1 on the Sky Fire Marshal ranking, the one who made history? Yi Qinfeng? #1 on the Sky Fire Marshal ranking. Doesn't that mean he's even more powerful than Manor Headland? Nonsense, he's much more powerful. Looking at Yi Qinfeng, who was surrounded by Lin Fuxin and the others, the entire arena was in an uproar. Yi Qinfeng became the absolute focus of discussion. Qinfeng, where have you been all these years? We heard that you were being hunted down by the Heavenly Fire sect. We were worried to death. The group arrived at the Violet Gold Martial Institution's main hall. Lin Fuxin personally poured a cup of fragrant tea for Yi Qinfeng and asked, I was hunted down by the experts of the Heavenly Fire sect and had no choice but to train overseas for a few years. Yi Qinfeng explained briefly, That's right, Senior Brother Lin. Why didn't the Heavenly Fire sect take revenge on you all? Why did they leave the Jin kingdom instead? Sigh, with the Sky Fire sect's vengeful nature, how could they not take revenge on us? However, at the most crucial moment, a very powerful woman came to the Forbidden Imperial City and intimidated the Sky Fire sect's experts. She ordered all of them to leave the Jin kingdom, which saved us. Lin Fuxin sighed softly and told him everything that had happened. Could it be Sister Piaoling? She was the one who intimidated the Heavenly Fire sect. Thinking of the people he knew, only Shui Piaoling had the ability to intimidate the Heavenly Fire sect. Yi Qinfeng guessed the identity of the person who saved the Jin kingdom. That's right, Senior Brother Lin. Where's the Palace Lord Qian? Is he all right? Yi Qinfeng was very concerned about Qian Daobai's situation and asked. The Palace Lord Qian followed the Heavenly Fire Marshal House and left the Jin kingdom. I don't know his current situation. Lin Fuxin shook his head and said, However, when the Heavenly Fire sect took revenge on us, the Palace Lord Qian tried his best to stop them. I'm afraid his situation is not good. Looks like I have to hurry to the Heavenly Fire sect. Yi Qinfeng's eyes flashed as he muttered to himself. Qingfeng, don't put yourself in danger again. After a few years of development, the Heavenly Fire sect's overall strength has become stronger. It has even surpassed the Fengyun Valley and has become the #1 sect in the North Snow region. Lin Fuxin did not know Yi Qinfeng's true strength and kindly reminded him. Don't worry, senior brother Lin. The Heavenly Fire sect will be destroyed. Yi Qinfeng's lips curled up slightly, revealing a trace of arrogance. His words were full of confidence in his strength. Qingfeng, what realm have you cultivated during this overseas training? Lin Fuxin asked curiously when she saw that Yi Qinfeng did not care about the overlord of the North Snow region, the Heavenly Fire sect. Not long ago, I broke through to the level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor realm. Yi Qinfeng did not hide his cultivation realm and said frankly, What? Level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor realm. Knowing Yi Qinfeng's cultivation level, everyone present was stunned. They were all stupefied on the spot. The Heavenly Beast Immortal Realm was already difficult to reach in the eyes of Lin Fuxin and the rest. Level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor Realm was even more unattainable in their eyes. It was like a legend. If they knew that Yi Qinfeng was not a simple Mystic Beast Ancestor Realm expert, and that he could kill ordinary Absolute Kings like killing chickens, they would definitely be dumbfounded. Level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor Realm. If the Heavenly Fire sect knew about your current strength, they would definitely regret it. Lin Fuxin said with a smile. She was no longer worried about Yi Qinfeng's safety. When Ji Yinzheng and Yi Qingquan learned of Yi Qinfeng's strength, they looked at each other and saw the regret in each other's eyes. If they could tie Yi Qinfeng to their families, they had no doubt that their families would definitely be able to transcend the boundaries of mortals and become a true sect. They would also be able to obtain unimaginable benefits, but it was too late for regrets. They could only blame themselves for having poor judgment. By the way, I have returned this time with gifts for all of you. As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng took out 4 golden and heavy Qinquan bags and handed them to Lin Fuxin, Yi Qingquan, Ji Yinzheng, and Bai Shishan. In each of these 4 Qinquan bags, there are 100 supreme-grade spirit weapons, more than 20 Earth-grade spirit weapons, 30 spirit-grade spirit elixirs, 10 Earth-grade spirit elixirs, and a set of high-grade Earth-grade soul arts and soul skills. Yi Qinfeng said slowly. Qingfeng, did you rob a sect's treasure vault? After receiving the heavy Qinquan bags, Lin Fuxin and the others felt a huge wave in their hearts. They felt that even the Heavenly Fire sect couldn't take out so many spirit treasures. You can say so. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said vaguely. By the way, Qingfeng, do you know how Qingxue and Xia are doing? I miss you very much. Ji Yinzheng asked. Don't worry, Patriarch Ji. Qingxue and the others are cultivating in the Misty Mountain. The Misty Mountain is the #1 sect in the Northern Spirit region. Its strength is hundreds of times stronger than the Heavenly Fire sect. I plan to wait for the Heavenly Fire sect's matter to be settled before I go look for them. If there's a chance, I will ask them to come back and visit you. Yi Qinfeng said softly. Okay, I'll leave everything to you. After knowing that the 2 girls were cultivating in the #1 sect in the Northern Spirit region, Ji Yinzheng was relieved and prayed that Yi Qinfeng would be together with his granddaughter. Yi Qinfeng stayed in the Yi family for 3 days. In these 3 days, he'd helped Yi Xiling absorb a spirit-grade soul pill and an earth-grade soul pill, establishing a good foundation for her cultivation. He'd also taught Yi Xiling a high-grade earth-grade soul mantra, raising her to a 2nd-rank earth-grade beast general. During this time, the king of Zijin received news of Yi Qinfeng's return and personally came to visit the Yi family. He also gave Yi Qinfeng a generous amount of wealth and land, but Yi Qinfeng tactfully rejected him. Xiling, senior brother Lin, Patriarch Yi, take care of yourselves. I'll leave now. When I have time, I will bring Qingxue and Xia back to visit you. 3 days later, Yi Qinfeng bid farewell to everyone and summoned the Golden Rock Wings. Under the dumbfounded gazes of everyone, He flew out of the forbidden imperial city and headed to the Heavenly Fire sect alone to take revenge. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 345. I'm sorry, you won't get the chance. The Heavenly Fire sect was located in the northern Spirit Mountain Range. It was next to an active volcano that spewed out hot flames all year round. It was one of the famous cultivation holy lands in the northern snow region. Early in the morning, when the sun had just risen, dozens of enormous flying spirit beasts flapped their huge wings and flew into the Heavenly Fire School, which was surrounded by immortal mountains, clouds, and mist, and filled with multicolored light. These flying spirit beasts included Wind Cloud Valley's clear wind doves, Thunderbird Mountain's golden eagles, and some of the flying spirit beasts raised by second-ranked sects in the North Snow County. All the major sects of a northern Snow County had gathered at the Heavenly Fire sect for the Heavenly Fire sect to hold the Northern Snow Grand Meet. This Heavenly Fire sect really thinks of itself as the #1 sect in the Northern Snow County. A white-haired old man from Storm Valley snorted coldly. He was clad in a Nebula Taoist robe and was dissatisfied with the fact that the Heavenly Fire sect had announced to the North Snow County that they were holding a grand meeting in the name of North Snow without permission. After all, Storm Valley had always been the overlord of North Snow County. Don't worry, Great Elder. When the competition starts later, this disciple will definitely humiliate the Heavenly Fire sect's disciples and let them know who is the real overlord of the Northern Snow County. A young man wearing a dark blue Taoist robe with a snakeskin sword hanging on his back said arrogantly as he walked. This blue-robed man was the Storm Valley's once-in-a-century genius, Yun Zonkong, who had broken through to the mystic beast ancestor realm at the age of 28. Well, Zonkong, if you can win the title of the #1 expert of the younger generation in this grand meeting and suppress the arrogance of the Heavenly Fire sect, I will reward you with the Tiger Soul Earth Spirit Pill that my Storm Valley has collected for decades. The Great Elder of the Storm Valley, Feng Wuxing, nodded and said, "Thank you, Great Elder." Yin Zonkong had been drooling over the Tiger Soul Earthly Spirit Pellet for a long time. When he heard Feng Wuxing's promise, he was overjoyed. It was as if the Tiger Soul Earthly Spirit Pellet was already in his pocket. As time passed, the important figures of the major sects of the Northern Snow County arrived one after another. The Northern Snow Grand Meet organized by the Heavenly Fire sect had begun. Although Storm Valley and Thunderbird Mountain were full of enmity towards the Heavenly Fire sect, they did not show it in public. They were all prepared to ruthlessly suppress the Heavenly Fire sect's disciples and humiliate the Heavenly Fire sect during the competition. Welcome to the Heavenly Fire sect for the North Snow Grand Meet. All the important figures of the various sects had basically arrived. The Heavenly Fire sect master, Huiyan, appeared in the noisy Heavenly Fire Hall, wearing a flame-patterned robe. He arrogantly walked to the main seat and spoke in a deep voice. "Sect Master Hua, may I know why your Heavenly Fire sect suddenly decided to hold this meeting?" Luo He, the Grand Elder of Thunderbird Mountain, took a sip of the green leaf spirit tea that exuded traces of spirit energy and asked, "Our Heavenly Fire sect is holding the North Snow Grand Meet for the future development of the North Snow County and for the benefit of all sects," Hui Yin said with a smile. "I would like to hear the details," Feng Wuxing said with a fake smile as he played with the teacup in his hand. "Our North Snow County's strength in the northern spiritual region is too weak. In order to increase the overall strength of our North Snow County, our Heavenly Fire sect has discussed and decided to establish a North Snow Alliance. We invite all of you to join the alliance and integrate our resources to develop together and strengthen the overall strength of our North Snow County," Hui Yin said slowly. His voice revealed an extremely strong ambition. Hearing Hui Yan's words, the entire Heavenly Fire Hall became silent. The faces of the people from Storm Valley and Thunderbird Mountain turned gloomy. They never thought that Huayan's appetite would be so big that he would want to unify the North Snow County. When the entire hall fell into a short silence, some of the second-grade sects that had secretly reached an agreement with the Heavenly Fire sect expressed their willingness to join the alliance. Sect Master Hua, it's not impossible for my Storm Valley to join the alliance, but I wonder who will be the leader of the alliance. Feng Wuxing's eyes revealed a sharp light as he asked in a gloomy voice. That's right, my Thunderbird Mountain also wants to know who will be the leader of the alliance. Luo, he asked with an ugly expression. We are all old, and the alliance will be handed over to the younger generation sooner or later. Therefore, I suggest that we choose a candidate leader from the younger generation first, and then decide on the leader in order to complete the succession of the sect in the future, Huayan said cunningly. According to what alliance leader Hua said, which sect's young disciple will be able to become a candidate for the position of alliance leader. And the alliance leader will also be born from that sect. Feng Wuxing's lips curled up slightly as he slowly asked, That's right, that's what I meant. I wonder if anyone has any opinions? Huya nodded and said, This proposal is fair. My Storm Valley has no objections. Feng Wuxing pondered for a moment, then nodded and said, Thunderbird Mountain also agrees. Luo He and the people from Thunderbird Mountain discussed for a moment and finally agreed. Since no one has any objections, let's go to the arena and compete among the younger generation, Huiyin said with a faint smile. Zonkong, you can only win this battle, not lose. If you can defeat everyone and become the leader of the alliance, I will agree to any request you have in the future. Looking at Huiyan's calm face, Feng Wuxing suddenly felt a trace of uneasiness. He lowered his voice and whispered into Yun Zonkong's ears as he promised. Don't worry, Great Elder. Zonkong will not let you down. Yun Zonkong clenched his fists tightly and promised solemnly. Mo-ku, this mad demon fruit is for you. Eat it at a critical moment, and it can instantly raise your strength by 1 level. Luo He quietly stuffed a pitch-black fruit into the hands of Thunderbird Mountain's great disciple, Shi Mo-ku, and instructed him. Rest assured, Great Elder, the title of the #1 genius will definitely be mine. Shi Mo-ku put the fruit into a spatial bag and nodded as he promised. A group of naive guys. Do you really think you can take the position of the alliance leader from my Heavenly Fire sect? Hua Yin revealed a trace of an undetectable sneer as he muttered in his heart. Wu Hai, Stone Piercer, you two will represent my Heavenly Fire sect to challenge the other geniuses. When they arrived at the martial arts arena, Huiyin immediately pointed out 2 young disciples of the Heavenly Fire sect who had cold expressions and sharp eyes. They leaped onto a spacious martial arts arena and waited to spar with each other. A first-grade mystic beast sect. When did such a powerful disciple appear in the Heavenly Fire sect? Feeling the strength of Jian Wu Hai, Stone Piercer, and Feng Wuxing, Luo He and the others' faces instantly became gloomy. They felt like they had fallen into a trap. Who wants to fight? An ear-piercing sword hum echoed as Jian Wu Hai pulled out a pitch-black, 6-foot-long sword. He pointed at Storm Valley's side and spoke arrogantly. Let me have a go at you. With a gloomy face, Yun Zonkong leaped into the air like a sword ray and landed on the arena. He held his snakeskin sword and fought fiercely with Jian Wu Hai. While Yun Zonkong and Jian Wu Hai were fighting fiercely, Thunderbird Mountain's great disciple, Shi Mo-ku, also jumped onto the arena. He held a heavy hammer that flickered with lightning as he launched a fierce attack on the burly Stone Piercer. So powerful, worthy of being a peerless genius nurtured by a 3rd-grade sect. His strength actually surpassed the older generation. So terrifying. Yeah, especially that Jian Wu Hai. He actually comprehended the sword force that swordsmen dream of. His attack power has reached the level of a 2nd-grade mystic beast sect. The Heavenly Fire sect foundation is so deep. Seeing the fierce battle on the arena, the spectators all sighed with emotion. Feng Wuxing and Luo He's expressions became more and more unsightly. As time passed, Yin Zonkong and Shi Mo-ku were completely suppressed by Jian Wu Hai and Jian Wu Hai's fierce attacks and fell into a passive state. It's over. An incomparably sharp sword ray flashed past. Jian Wuhai had fused the power of his sword into his long sword. With one stab, he broke through Yun Zongkong's defense and sent him flying out of the arena, losing the battle. Seeing Yun Zongkong lose so thoroughly, Shi Mo Ku steeled his heart and ate the mad demon fruit in his spatial pouch, making a final gamble. Scorching Sun Fist. The instant Shi Mo Ku swallowed the demonic mad fruit, the flint piercer's entire body lit up with flames. He unleashed a powerful killing move. An explosive fireball-like fist shot out, heavily smashing into Shi Mo Ku's chest, sending him flying. He heavily crashed into the martial stage and fainted. Lost all of them. Seeing Yun Zongkong and Shi Mo Ku fall out of the arena and lose the battle, Feng Wuxing and Luo, his eyes widened in shock. Hui Yin, you win. Feng Wuxing suppressed the anger in his heart and ordered someone to help the heavily injured Feng Wuxing up. He coldly said, "Let's go. Go. It won't be too late to go after you all join the alliance," Hui Yin said maliciously. "Hui Yin, I'll tell you clearly that my Storm Valley will not join this alliance. My Thunderbird Mountain will not join either," Luo he added. "Sigh. I didn't expect the two of you to go back on your words and not keep your promise. How disappointing." Hui Yin sighed softly and said, "But it's not up to you." As he spoke, a fiery red figure appeared. The temperature of the entire arena instantly rose. "Whoever doesn't join the alliance, I will destroy them." Huo Ling, who had forcefully fused with the Fireheart's spiritual flame, appeared with heavy steps. His terrifying aura shocked everyone present. This aura, a level 6 mystic beast ancestor. Feng Wuxing and Luo, his faces changed when they felt the terrifying aura from Huo Ling. They didn't expect Huo Ling's strength to reach such a level in just 4 years. They were powerless against him. The Supreme Elder is the leader of the alliance. Does anyone have any objections? Hui Yin looked at the pale-faced Feng Wuxing, Luo He, and the rest, and asked arrogantly. After witnessing the strength of the Sky Fire Sect's younger generation and Huo Ling's terrifying strength, the hearts of the various experts were shaken. Even Feng Wuxing and Luo He were shocked and lost their wits. "Sorry, I don't think he can be the leader of the alliance." Just as the atmosphere in the arena was so oppressive that it was terrifying, a bone-chilling voice suddenly sounded. In the next moment, Yi Chanfeng, who was wearing a long white robe and had a body as straight as a steel spear, walked over step by step with his hands behind his back. He had a pair of sharp eyes under his sword-like eyebrows. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record your reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 346. What was a genius? Yi Chenfeng, seeing the arrogant figure that suddenly appeared, esteemed fire spirit, Hui Yin, and the rest were all stunned. Immediately after, several powerful auras swept towards him and locked onto him, fearing that he would run away. Swish! Swish! Jian Wuhai, who had just obtained a complete victory, suddenly launched a fierce attack at Yi Chenfeng. He wanted to capture him and make a great contribution to the Heavenly Fire sect. However, when they got close to Yi Chenfeng, a huge murderous aura gushed out of Yi Chenfeng's body like a tide and pressed down on them. The murderous aura was so strong that the entire arena became oppressive and cold. Many disciples who were not strong enough were so scared that they were short of breath. Their faces were pale as they fell to the ground. "Kneel!" Yi Chenfeng shouted. His command was like a muffled thunder that exploded in Jian Wuhai and Hui Yan's ears. The powerful voice shook their souls and made their legs bend uncontrollably. The two of them, Jian Wuhai and Flint Piercer, who had just defeated Stormcloud Valley's #1 genius of Thunderbird Mountain and the most famous of them, could not withstand Yi Chenfeng's killing chi and knelt on the ground like dogs. This aura, a level 6 mystic beast ancestor, sensing Yi Chenfeng's aura, venerable fire spirit, who had forcefully fused with the Fireheart spirit flame when he was heavily injured and raised his cultivation to a level 6 mystic beast ancestor, felt a strong sense of unease in his heart. He could not imagine that Yi Qinfeng, who had fled overseas after being hunted down by him, could cultivate to a level 6 mystic beast ancestor in just 4 years. He was a complete threat to him. The scene of Yi Qinfeng crushing Jian Wuhai and Huayan's calmness also shocked the experts of the Heavenly Fire sect. They did not dare to act rashly. Why? Shouldn't you be happy to see me? Why do you all look so sad? Yi Qinfeng asked as he looked at the gloomy expressions of esteemed fire spirit and the others. His lips curled up slightly as he revealed a prideful smile. Yi Qinfeng, don't be so arrogant. Today, I will make sure you don't leave this place alive. With that said, Abbot Fire Spirit took out a compass and activated the Heavenly Fire Sect's protective array. A large number of array runes filled the void, enveloping the entire Heavenly Fire Sect. Ha ha! Hualing, do you really think that you are invincible after devouring the Fireheart Spirit Flame? Yi Qinfeng laughed loudly and said arrogantly, a frog at the bottom of a well like you can only show off in the Heavenly Fire Sect. Heavens, who is that young man? What an arrogant tone. That's right, challenging the entire Heavenly Fire Sect single-handedly. This person is too bold. You don't even know him? Haven't you heard that 4 years ago, the entire Heavenly Fire Sect mobilized to capture a young man, but failed in the end? If my guess is correct, that young man is him. What? Could it be that he only used 4 years to have the strength to face the Heavenly Fire Sect head-on? When did our North Snow County have such a monster? The people who were hiding in the distance discussed animatedly. However, Feng Wuxing, Luo He, and the rest showed gloating smiles. They did not expect such a turn of events when they were in the most danger. Yi Qinfeng, I will soon let you know who is the frog at the bottom of the well. A murderous intent flashed in Hualing's eyes. 2 high-grade, earth-level, purple-green longswords appeared in his hands. When he merged with his spiritual beast and greatly increased his strength, endless flame energy gushed out of his body. A powerful wave of fire rose behind him. What a terrifying aura. Esteemed fire spirit strength has reached such a level. Feng Wuxing, Luo He, and the rest were shocked when they felt esteemed fire spirit's soaring strength. Such strength could definitely be called the #1 person in the North Snow County. Supreme Elder, kill this little bastard. Jian Wuhai, who could not withstand Yi Qinfeng's murderous aura and had humiliated himself by kneeling on the ground, got up in a sorry state. He looked at Yi Qinfeng with fire in his eyes. He wanted to cut him into pieces. Get lost. Yi Qinfeng's pupil shrank. A terrifying sound wave erupted from his mouth, bombarding Jian Wuhai and Jian Wuhai like a stormy sea. Poof! Poof! Jian Wuhai and Jian Wuhai felt a pain in their chests when they endured the sound wave attack released by Yi Qinfeng. A large amount of blood spurted out uncontrollably. Their bodies were like kites with a broken string, drawing 2 beautiful arcs in the air before they fell heavily to the ground. With one roar, the 2 top geniuses of the Heavenly Fire Sect were seriously injured. Everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. Terrifying, too terrifying. Yin Zongkong and Shi Moku, who had just lost the match and were unwilling to accept it, were completely stunned. They never thought that their talent and strength, which were the best in the sect, would be a joke in front of Yi Qinfeng. Come me together. After severely injuring Jian Wuhai and Jian Wuhai with one roar, Yi Qinfeng extended a finger and pointed at esteemed fire spirit and the rest, who had a gloomy expression. He spoke in an overbearing manner. I alone am enough to kill you. Esteemed fire spirit was completely enraged by Yi Qinfeng's arrogance. Billowing waves of fire surged into the superior grade earth weapon, purple-green dual swords. 2 extremely sharp sword radiances intersected and slashed at Yi Qinfeng. Yin and Yang sword. Esteemed fire spirit used his killer move right away. The power of Yin and Yang complemented each other, increasing the attack power of the 2 sword radiances invisibly. Collapsing cloud palm. Yi Qinfeng suddenly took a step forward and shattered the hard ground. 1,500,000 gene of force shot out and condensed into an extremely compressed palm radiance. It carried a powerful destructive force and easily shattered the yin and yang sword radiances. It heavily imprinted itself on the purple-green dual swords that pierced through the void. Gotcha! The two treasures of the Heavenly Fire sect, the two superior-grade earth weapons, could not withstand the attack of 1,500,000 gene of force and directly shattered. The powerful palm energy surged into esteemed fire spirit's arms through the swords, causing his skin and flesh to split open. His bones were exposed, and a large amount of blood splattered all over the ground. What? The purple-green dual swords broke. Seeing the superior-grade earth weapon, purple-green dual swords, being shattered by Yi Chunfeng's palm, everyone present fell into a daze. They did not dare to imagine what they had just seen. Yi Chunfeng's strength had already exceeded their imagination. Hui Yan, who was still in high spirits and having a beautiful dream, was now filled with despair. You, how do you have so much strength? Esteemed fire spirit, whose arms were almost broken, was terrified. He did not think that the difference in strength between him and Yi Chunfeng, who were both level 6 Xian Beast Grandmasters, would be so great. I told you, you're just a frog at the bottom of a well. With your strength, you can only show off in the North Snow County. Once you leave the North Snow County, you are nothing. Yi Chunfeng sneered and mocked with disdain. Yi Chunfeng, I will definitely take your life. Esteemed fire spirit could not accept the fact that he had failed. He also could not accept that the plan he had planned for so long had gone down the drain. With a roar, he burned all the qi and blood in his body to make a final gamble. Kill robbery. Esteemed fire spirit held the broken purple-green dual swords and used his strongest move. The terrifying kill robbery sword was like a giant axe that could split the sky. It tore through the air and ferociously slashed towards Yi Chunfeng. Facing esteemed fire spirit's strongest attack, Yi Chunfeng did not dodge. He stood still and allowed the kill robbery sword to slash towards him. Seeing that Yi Chunfeng was about to be slashed in half by the kill robbery sword, he suddenly reached out his right hand. 150,000 kilograms of strength instantly shot out from his palm and shattered the kill robbery sword. It also shattered the broken purple-green dual swords. Fire Spirit Flame, attack. The moment the purple-green dual sword shattered, the Fire Spirit Flame rushed out of esteemed Fire Spirit's body like a dragon. It burned towards Yi Chunfeng and dealt a fatal blow. Just as the Fire Heart Spirit Flame touched Yi Chunfeng's body, a thick layer of ice suddenly formed on the surface of the flame dragon that was hot enough to melt a mystic beast sex expert. It was instantly frozen. This strange scene shocked everyone present. They stood there dumbfounded as their minds went blank. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click bookmark at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 347. From today onwards, the Heavenly Fire Sect was no more. Heavens, am I blind? One of the heaven and earth spiritual flames, the Fire Heart Spirit Flame, has been frozen. What kind of power is this? It can even freeze the heaven and earth spiritual flames. The Heavenly Fire Sect is finished. This Yi Chunfeng is unbeatable. Witnessing this scene, a fear that came from the deepest part of their soul spread throughout the experts of the various large sections. It made them shudder from the bottom of their hearts. Chaos Divine would devour the Fire Heart Spirit Flame. After releasing the ancient cold ice to forcefully freeze the Fire Heart Spirit Flame, Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the Chaos Divine would to devour the Fire Heart Spirit Flame in exalted fire spirit's body. Swish, 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 countless strands of green light broke out of Yi Chunfeng's body. Before exalted fire spirit could react, they drilled into his body and forcefully devoured the Fire Heart Spirit Flame that was suppressed by the ancient cold ice. In less than 3 breaths, the defenseless Fire Heart Spirit Flame was devoured by the Chaos Divine Wood's green roots and disappeared from Exalted Fire Spirit's body. No. After losing the Fire Heart Spirit flame, Exalted Fire Spirit let out a roar of despair. He could not believe that the Fire Heart Spirit flame that had merged with him was so easily snatched away by Yi Chenfeng. Give me the Fire Heart Spirit flame. The severely injured Exalted Fire Spirit roared. He was like an enraged lion as he attacked Yi Chenfeng in a frenzy. Pa! The crisp sound of a slap rang out. Yi Chenfeng raised his right hand and slapped the face of the Fire Spirit Sage who was close to him. The slap sent the Fire Spirit Sage flying, and several of his teeth fell out. It's over. It's all over. Seeing the Fire Heart Spirit flame being devoured by Yi Chenfeng and the strongest person in the Heavenly Fire Sect, Exalted Fire Spirit, being sent flying with a slap, Hui Yin felt like he had fallen from the clouds to hell. The ambition hidden in his heart was completely shattered. He should have been a disciple of my Heavenly Fire Sect. Hui Yin, who was in a daze, suddenly thought that if it weren't for the conflict between Yi Chenfeng and Yi Chenfeng, and if it weren't for his greed for the great opportunity that Yi Chenfeng had obtained in the true spirit realm, Yi Chenfeng would most likely have become a disciple of the Heavenly Fire Sect. With the talent he had displayed, Hui Yin had no doubt that the Heavenly Fire Sect would become a rank 4 or even rank 5 sect because of him. They would step out of the barren North Snow County and into the vast soul-fighting continent. However, all of this had been ruined by the Yu family and his own greed. If Hui Yin had another chance to choose, he wouldn't hesitate to abandon the Yu family and support Yi Chenfeng. Don't waste any more time. Come at me together. After sending esteemed Hua Ling flying with a slap, Yi Chenfeng stared coldly at the pale-faced Hui Yin and the others. Yi Chenfeng, so it's all my Heavenly Fire Sect's fault. I don't know what it takes for you to forgive us. As long as you say it, my Heavenly Fire Sect will definitely satisfy you. The much older Hua Yin gave in. He lowered his noble head and asked in humiliation. Facing the invincible Yi Chenfeng, Hui Yin knew that only by appeasing his anger could the Heavenly Fire Sect be saved. My request is very simple. The Heavenly Fire Sect will be destroyed, and you will all die, Yi Chenfeng said without a trace of emotion. Yi Chenfeng never showed mercy to his enemies. If he hadn't been so lucky back then, he would have died in the Heavenly Fire Sect pursuit. Yi Chenfeng, are you really going to kill us all? Hui Yin gritted his teeth and said, if you are willing to let us go, I will give you the Heavenly Fire Sect. Is the Heavenly Fire Sect that attractive? Yi Chenfeng snorted and said, I don't mind telling you that I don't fancy the Heavenly Fire Sect. You don't beg him. Let's fight it out with him. Esteemed Hua Ling, whose cheeks were sunken in, got up from the ground and said while panting, fight it out? Will it work? Facing Yi Chenfeng's almost invincible strength, Hui Yin knew that he would be the one to die in the end. Stop. All of you stop. Just as Hui Yin and the others fell into deep fear and didn't dare to make a move, a loud roar was heard. The hall master of the sword hall, Jian Yuan, who hadn't shown himself all this time, appeared with the gray-skinned, dispirited, and skinny Qian Daobai. Hall, Master Qian. Seeing Qian Daobai, who had helped him many times, being tortured to the brink of death by the Heavenly Fire Sect, Jian Yuan's murderous aura exploded from his body. It filled the arena and made people feel like their guts were about to explode. Yi Chenfeng, let us go. Otherwise, I will kill him. Looking into Yi Chenfeng's bloodthirsty eyes, Jian Yuan felt like he was being stared at by the Grim Reaper. His body turned cold, and his right hand that was pressing on Qian Daobai's head started to tremble. Chenfeng, I didn't expect that we would meet again one day. Qian Daobai slowly opened his tired eyes and looked at Yi Chenfeng, who was not far away. He said weakly, seeing your achievements today, I have the right to brag even in the underworld. Hall Master Qian, don't worry. You will live longer than them. Yi Chenfeng took a deep breath and suppressed the murderous aura in his heart as he looked at Jian Yuan. Yi Chenfeng, I warn you not to mess around. Otherwise, he will be the first to die. Jian Yuan swallowed hard and suppressed the fear in his heart as he warned loudly. He was afraid that Yi Chenfeng would kill him at all costs. Supreme Elder, Sect Master, let's leave this place first. The Yin-Yang Hall master, Yu Tingu, who had been frightened by Yi Chunfeng's strength, helped the severely injured Excellency Fire Spirit up and urged anxiously, "Roar!" Suddenly, a loud dragon roar was heard, and a powerful dragon aura instantly filled the entire sparring field. Under the influence of the dragon aura, everyone present was scared out of their wits. Some of the weaker martial artists were so frightened that their bodies swayed and they fell to the ground unconscious. Buzz! Jian Yuan felt his head tremble when he was attacked by the dragon aura. His mind went blank, and his reaction slowed down a little. In the next moment, endless cold air penetrated through the ground and entered his legs. Before he could react, he was frozen into an ice sculpture. "Umph! How dare you threaten me with your strength?" After controlling the ancient cold mysterious ice to freeze Jian Yuan, Yi Chunfeng took a step forward and appeared beside Jian Yuan at lightning speed. He extended a finger and exploded Jian Yuan's frozen head, ending his life. Sword Puppet, protect Mansion Master Qian. Kill anyone who goes near him without mercy. Qian Daobai's injuries were too severe, and Yi Chunfeng was afraid that another accident would happen. He summoned the Sword Puppet and ordered him to protect Qian Daobai. "Yi Chunfeng, we are willing to respect you as our master. We only ask that you let us go." After witnessing how Yi Chunfeng killed Jian Yuan in an instant, Hui Yin was really scared. He disregarded his dignity and begged for mercy. "You have no right to ask me to let you go. Today, the Heavenly Fire sect will be destroyed." Yi Chunfeng was unmoved as he spoke with killing intent. "I will fight it out with you. Even if I die, I will not let him off easily." With both his arms almost crippled, the severely injured Excellency Fire Spirit roared and charged at Yi Chunfeng crazily. He wanted to self-destruct to deal a fatal blow to Yi Chunfeng. "You are too naive. With your strength, I can kill you as easily as killing a chicken." As he spoke, a lightning-fast sword Dao pattern shot out of Yi Chunfeng's body. Before Excellency Fire Spirit could self-destruct, his head had already exploded. Following that, Yi Chunfeng continued to attack. He was like the Grim Reaper as he crazily reaped the lives of the Heavenly Fire sect's experts who had pursued him in the past. In less than half an hour, the Heavenly Fire sect's battle arena had turned into a purgatory on Earth. Large amounts of blood had gathered into a small stream. The horrifying scene made everyone present feel cold and fearful. From today onwards, the Heavenly Fire sect will no longer exist in the North Snow County. After killing the higher-ups of the Heavenly Fire sect, Yi Chunfeng exuded a domineering aura and announced loudly that the third-grade sect, the Heavenly Fire sect, would no longer exist in the North Snow County. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 348. Mist. The sunset glow covered half of the sky like a flame, and the sky gradually darkened. After sleeping for several hours, Qian Daobai, who was severely injured and extremely weak, woke up from his coma. "Prefecture Lord Qian, you're awake. How do you feel?" Yi Chunfeng, who had just healed and stabilized Qian Daobai's injuries, asked softly when he noticed that Qian Daobai had finally woken up. "Chunfeng, where are we?" Looking at the unfamiliar surroundings, Qian Daobai forced himself to sit up and asked weakly. "We are now in a small town near the Heavenly Fire sect," Yi Chunfeng said. "Chunfeng, what did you do to the Heavenly Fire sect?" Qian Daobai looked at Yi Chunfeng's cold face and thought of the scene where Jian Yuan's head exploded before he fainted. He asked with a complicated tone, "The Heavenly Fire sect has been destroyed. I have also killed Huo Ling and Hui Yin," Yi Chunfeng said calmly. "Annihilated, the Heavenly Fire sect is truly gone." Although Qian Daobai had been implicated by Yi Chunfeng and had been tortured in the Heavenly Fire sect and had almost lost his life, the Heavenly Fire sect was his root and had nurtured him. After learning that Yi Chunfeng had massacred the Heavenly Fire sect and removed the heavenly fire sect from the northern snow county, his heart instantly felt empty. They brought all of this upon themselves. With their inflated ambitions and short-sightedness, even if I don't destroy them, someone will destroy them sooner or later. Yi Chen-feng said indifferently. I know. The heavenly fire sect's actions in the past few years have already betrayed their righteousness. However, I grew up in the heavenly fire sect and cultivated there. I am not used to the sudden disappearance of the heavenly fire sect. Qian Daobai sighed deeply. By the way, Mansion Lord Qian, do you have any news about Senior Sister Fu? Other than Qian Daobai, Yi Chen-feng was also very worried about Fu Yuyu's safety and wanted to know about her situation. I don't know. I have been imprisoned in Heavenly Fire Sect's prison all these years. I don't know much about the outside world. However, Yu's background is not simple. I think she should be fine. Qian Daobai shook his head and said, Man or head, what are your plans from now on? Yi Chen-feng asked softly. I might go back to Zijin Kingdom to live the rest of my life. Qian Daobai thought for a while and said, Returning to Zijin Kingdom is indeed a good choice. Yi Chen-feng nodded and said, Manor Lord, I have a few things for you. As he spoke, Yi Chen-feng took out 5 Earth-level soul pills, a top-quality Earth-level longsword, and the top-quality Earth-level soul skill, Spirit Snake's sword technique, which he had obtained from killing the Han family's elites. He gave them to Qian Daobai. This is, looking at the treasure that Yi Chen-feng gave him, Qian Daobai's eyes widened in shock as he revealed a look of shock. With just a glance, he was sure that Yi Chen-feng had given him something extraordinary. These 5 pills are Earth-level soul pills. This longsword is a top-quality Earth-level weapon. As for these 2 scrolls, they're a set of top-quality Earth-level soul arts and soul skills. Yi Chen-feng introduced. Chen-feng, these things are too precious. I can't accept them. After knowing the grades of these treasures, Qian Daobai's hands trembled as he quickly declined. Back then, in order to obtain an Earth-level soul pill, he was willing to go to a mortal country with thin spiritual energy to become the Martial Mansion Lord. However, Yi Chen-feng had given him 5 Earth-level soul pills. The top-quality Earth-level weapons, top-quality Earth-level soul arts, and soul skills that Yi Chen-feng had given him were even more precious. Even the Heavenly Fire Sect didn't have these things. Martial Mansion Lord Qian, the kindness you gave me back then is far more than these. These treasures are useless to me now. You don't have to be polite. Quickly accept them. Yi Chen-feng forcefully gave these treasures to Qian Daobai. All right, I'll accept these things. Qian Daobai finally accepted Yi Chen-feng's gift and asked, Chen-feng, can you tell me what cultivation realm you are at now? I just broke through to the rank 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor realm not long ago. Yi Chen-feng said frankly. Rank 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor. Qian Daobai knew that Yi Chen-feng was very strong. He was so strong that he could destroy the Heavenly Fire Sect alone. However, he was still stunned after knowing his true strength. The night grew darker and darker. During this night, Yi Chen-feng and Qian Daobai chatted for a long time. From the conversation, Qian Daobai deeply felt how strong Yi Chen-feng's cultivation heart was. He also understood why Yi Chen-feng could achieve what he had today. Opportunity was only one aspect. If one didn't have great courage, great wisdom, great spirit, and an incomparably firm cultivation heart, they wouldn't be able to obtain the opportunity, even if it was right in front of them. On the morning of the second day, Qian Daobai, who had partially recovered from his injuries, bid farewell to Yi Chen-feng and headed to the kingdom of Zijin by himself. He was prepared to spend the rest of his life there. After Qian Daobai left, Yi Chen-feng didn't follow him. Instead, he controlled the black netherworld extreme fire to fuse with the fire heart spirit flame, increasing its power and waiting for someone. The fire heart spirit flame's power was extremely terrifying. When the black netherworld extreme fire tried to devour it, it immediately resisted fiercely. Waves of scorching energy leaked out, burning the restrictions that Yi Chen-feng had placed in the room and distorting them. Primal chaos divine would suppress. As the fire heart spirit flame fiercely resisted, Yi Chunfeng immediately borrowed the power of the primal chaos divine wood to suppress it. Soon, the restless fire heart spirit flame calmed down and was devoured by the black netherworld extreme fire. After fusing with the fire heart spirit flame, the black netherworld extreme fire should be able to transform into a heaven flame. Yi Chunfeng muttered to himself. He patiently controlled the black netherworld extreme fire to fuse with the fire heart spirit flame. Once the black netherworld extreme fire transformed into a heaven flame, the power of his wrath of God's punishment would be even more terrifying. Even a rank 2 reverse beast king would die on the spot. Just as Yi Chunfeng borrowed the power of the primal chaos divine would diffuse the two spirit flames, the news of Yi Chunfeng wiping out the heavenly fire sect by himself exploded in the North Snow region. Yi Chunfeng also became the most famous person in the North Snow region. Some people even called him the #1 genius in the North Snow region in 10,000 years. 300 miles northwest of the heavenly fire sect, in a small town surrounded by mountains. Chunfeng, you finally returned safely. A woman in a tight, black martial arts suit, with a curvaceous figure and an extremely perfect appearance, exuding a frosty temperament from head to toe, took a sip of the bamboo leaf tea, and a charming smile appeared on her delicate lips. This woman, who looked like a dark elf, was Fu Yuiwei, whom Yi Chunfeng had been thinking about. After finishing the bamboo leaf tea in the cup, Fu Yuiwei left behind a few low-grade soul crystals. She got up and left under the infatuated gazes of many pairs of eyes. She quickly went to the Heavenly Fire sect to look for Yi Chunfeng. She wanted to meet him. After Master Fire Spirit and the others were killed, the Heavenly Fire sect fell apart. The disciples of the sect who were lucky enough to survive fled the Heavenly Fire sect. In less than a day, the once prosperous Heavenly Fire sect was empty. The famous holy land of cultivation in the North Snow region was now a ruin. Many places were burned to ashes by the fire. Fu Yuiwei rode a blackbird and came to the Heavenly Fire sect. She immediately looked for Yi Chunfeng. But after searching the entire Heavenly Fire sect, she did not find a single disciple of the Heavenly Fire sect, nor did she get any news about Yi Chunfeng. She could not help but feel disappointed. Could it be that I missed it? Chunfeng left after destroying the Heavenly Fire sect. Fu Yuiwei shook her head and sighed softly. She said in her heart, Chunfeng, since you are safe and sound, I can rest assured and leave. But I may not come to the North Snow region in the future. I hope you're all right. After saying that, Fu Yuiwei regretfully did not stay any longer and left the ruins of the Heavenly Fire sect. Mobile reading website, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 349. A treasure map for sale. Just as Fu Yuiwei was about to leave, her heart suddenly trembled. A kind of shock and excitement appeared on her beautiful face, and in the end, it filled her entire face. From afar, she saw a domineering man in a white martial arts suit. He had a natural temperament, a chiseled face, and a gentle look in his bright eyes. He was walking towards her. Chunfeng, Fu Yuiwei could not help but rub her eyes to make sure that she was not seeing things. The person walking towards her slowly was Yi Chunfeng, the person she was looking for. Senior Sister Fu, long time no see. Looking at Fu Yuiwei's familiar face, Yi Chunfeng smiled and said softly, Chunfeng, did you not leave? Or did you know that I would come? Fu Yuiwei asked in surprise. I felt that you might come to the Heavenly Fire sect, so before I left, I came to take a look. I didn't expect to meet you. It seems that my luck is not bad. Yi Chunfeng smiled faintly and said softly, so that's how it is. Fu Yuiwei's cold and elegant face suddenly bloomed with a charming smile like a flower. She said, Chunfeng, I didn't expect that after not seeing you for 4 years, you could destroy the Heavenly Fire sect by yourself. I'm really curious. What is your cultivation level now? Can you tell me? I just broke through to the 6th level of the Black Beast Grandmaster realm not long ago. Yi Qinfeng said honestly. From his 2nd level of the Heavenly Beast Immortal realm to the 6th level of the Black Beast Grandmaster realm in 4 years. Qinfeng, your cultivation talent is really frightening. I think Hui Yin and the rest will regret their decision back then when they know your true strength. After knowing Yi Qinfeng's true strength, Fu Youyue's smile grew wider. It was as if 100 flowers had bloomed. It was stunning. Maybe, Yi Qinfeng said with a smile. Senior Sister Fu, I have a gift for you. With that, Yi Qinfeng took out a white jade porcelain bottle from his heaven and earth ring and handed it to Fu Yue. Such a strong medicinal fragrance. This is an earth-rank spirit pill. Fu Yue's eyes lit up when she felt the medicinal power of the 5 pills in the porcelain bottle. She asked in surprise. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, Yes, here are 5 earth-grade soul elixirs of the highest grade. They should be enough for you to advance to the level 6 Heavenly Beast Immortal Realm. Thank you. I won't stand on ceremony with you. Fu Yue thanked him softly. After a few years of cultivation, Fu Yue's strength had increased rapidly. She had broken through from a 5th-rank Earth Beast General to a 3rd-rank Heavenly Beast Immortal. However, after learning about Yi Qinfeng's current strength, the prideful Fu Yue still felt a sense of defeat. She desperately wanted to become more powerful. By the way, Qinfeng, what are your plans for the future? Fu Yue asked softly as she placed the 5 Earth-rank spirit pills into her Qinquan pouch. I'm preparing to go to the northern spiritual region's Misty Sky City to look for someone. Yi Qinfeng said. Misty Heaven City. Fu Yue raised her eyebrows slightly. A smile appeared on her cold face. She invited, I'm also going to the North Sea State to look for someone. Since it's on the way, why don't we travel together? Sure, Yi Qinfeng said with a smile. Then let's go. As she spoke, Fu Yue took out a green leaf and placed it on her alluring lips. She blew out a sound that penetrated through the air. Screech, a sharp screech, sounded in the sky. A huge bird with a wingspan of more than 10 meters and a long phoenix tail flew over when it heard the sound of Fu Yue blowing the green leaf. Level 1 Heavenly Beast, Phoenix Tail Dove. It seems that Senior Sister Fu's identity is not simple. Otherwise, it would be impossible for her to tame a heavenly beast that can travel thousands of miles in a day and is comparable to a level 1 heavenly beast master. Yi Qinfeng thought in his heart. However, as a smart person, Yi Qinfeng did not take the initiative to ask about her identity. After all, everyone had their own secrets. Let's go, Qinfeng. The two of them jumped into the air and landed on the wide and soft back of the phoenix-tailed dove. They flew away from the North Snow State and headed to the even more vast North Sea State. Dark Abyss Fire, Fire's Spirit Flame, Fuse. On the way to the North Sea State, Yi Qinfeng and Fu Yue did not waste any time. They sat on the back of the phoenix-tailed dove and cultivated. After cultivating for about 3 days, the Dark Abyss Fire and Fire Spirit Flame finally fused perfectly in the Chaos Divine Wood. They successfully transformed into a rare heavenly fire that had the power to burn the heavens and the earth, the Dark Heavenly Fire. The moment the Dark Heavenly Fire was formed, the Chaos Divine would also successfully nurtured 3 strands of chaos energy. The Spirit Flame has finally transformed into a heavenly fire. I wonder if the Dark Heavenly Fire alone can burn a level 1 Defiant Beast King to death. Feeling that the Dark Heavenly Fire was more than 10 times stronger than the Dark Abyss Fire, Yi Qinfeng showed a satisfied smile. He could not wait to find a legendary king to test the power of the Dark Heavenly Fire. Screech! The moment the Dark Heavenly Fire was formed, a terrifying heat was released from Yi Qinfeng's body. The phoenix-tailed dove screamed in fear and disturbed Fu Yue, who had consumed an earth-rank spirit pill and was trying to break through to the level 4 Heavenly Beast Immortal Realm. Qinfeng, what kind of spirit art are you cultivating? Why is the aura it emits so domineering? Fu Yue asked in surprise when she felt the heat wave from Yi Qinfeng's body. No, I just refined the Fire Spirit Flame. That energy is emitted by the Fire Spirit Flame. The fusion of the Spirit Flame was shocking. Yi Chunfeng did not tell Fu Yue the truth to avoid exposing the existence of the Chaos Divine Wood. Chunfeng, you refined a fire spirit flame. I'm afraid you have the ability to fight a level 1 Defiant Beast King. Fu Yue's eyes shone as she said enviously, even if I didn't refine the fire spirit flame, I can kill legendary kings like killing chickens. Yi Chunfeng said with a smile. Bullsh asterisk T, who would believe you? Fu Yue rolled her eyes at Yi Chunfeng. She didn't believe him at all. She closed her eyes and continued to refine the earth-rank spirit pill to break through. In the evening, the phoenix-tailed dove that had been flying for 3 days and 3 nights landed in the sky above a huge city called Cloud Peak City. Looking from afar, Cloud Peak City was surrounded by a mountain range that went deep into the clouds like a huge dragon. Chunfeng, let's rest in Cloud Peak City for the night. We'll continue our journey tomorrow. Fu Yue, who was on the verge of breaking through, suggested. She wanted to cultivate in peace for the night. The phoenix-tailed dove flapped its huge wings and landed in the forest at the edge of Cloud Peak City. Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue jumped off the back of the phoenix-tailed dove and walked into the bustling Cloud Peak City, shrouded in darkness. Just as Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue walked into the Cloud Peak City, which was filled with vicissitudes of life, Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue heard a loud shout. Treasure map! The most mysterious treasure map in the North Sea state has appeared. It only costs 1,000 low-grade soul crystals. Don't miss this opportunity. Friends passing by, don't miss it. You'll regret it for the rest of your life. A man in a cyan robe with a somewhat cautious expression yelled with all his might. What's wrong, Chunfeng? You can't be interested in that treasure map, right? Fu Yue looked at Yi Chunfeng, who suddenly stopped and looked over. She pursed her lips and teased him in a good mood. Senior Sister Fu, you're right. I am indeed interested in that treasure map. Yi Chunfeng replied with a smile. Come, let's go take a look. Ah, do you really believe that the treasure map is real? Fu Yue looked at Yi Chunfeng strangely and asked in confusion. She couldn't figure out what was wrong with Yi Chunfeng. It's possible. Yi Chunfeng smiled mysteriously. He looked at the man in the green robe who was shouting with all his might and walked over. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You'll see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 350. An expert hidden in the dark. Where is the treasure map you're selling? Yi Chunfeng asked softly as he walked over and looked deeply at the treasure map in the green-robed man's hand. The treasure map I'm selling is the most mysterious treasure in the North Sea. The location of the treasure is in the polar snow forest behind Yunfeng City. The man in the green robe said, How about it? Do you want to buy a treasure map and try your luck in the polar snow forest? You might find something unexpected. Okay, I'll buy one. With that, Yi Chunfeng paid 1,000 spirit crystals and bought a treasure map from the man in the green robe. Let's go, Senior Fu. Let's find a place to stay and study this treasure map. Looking at the confused Fu Yue with a strange expression, Yi Chunfeng smiled and left with her. Chunfeng, let me see the treasure map. Fu Yue could not figure out what Yi Chunfeng was up to. She took the treasure map from Yi Chunfeng and looked at it carefully. Chunfeng, this treasure map doesn't seem complete. Fu Yue looked at the treasure map in her hand and frowned. It seemed like only the first half of the map was marked. It's because it's not complete that it might be real. Yi Chunfeng smiled and said mysteriously, Why, you still think that this treasure map is real? Fu Yue could not imagine that a treasure map that was being sold in public could be real. If I'm not wrong, the person who was selling the treasure map was in disguise and hid his real strength. He should be a 4th-level Black Beast sect expert. And this treasure map is not complete. It only shows the first half. This proves that they are planning something. Now, I'm 50% sure that this treasure map is real. Yi Chunfeng lowered his voice and transmitted it into Fu Yue's ears. Could it be that they're openly selling the treasure map because they want us to help them find the way? Hearing Yi Chunfeng's words, Fu Yue immediately thought of the crux of the matter and asked, Yes, that should be the reason. Therefore, the first half of this treasure map is very likely to be real. Since we don't have the second half of the treasure map, the chances of us obtaining the final treasure is extremely slim. It is more likely that we will be killed after exploring the path. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, "Then, Changfeng, are we still going to the polar snow forest?" Fu Yue felt that the situation was as dangerous as Yi Qinfeng had predicted and asked for his opinion. "Of course I'm going," Yi Qinfeng said without hesitation. "No matter how dangerous it is, as long as I encounter it, I will give it a try." "But Changfeng, have you ever thought that a person who can make a level 4 mystic bee sect work for him is most likely a peerless king?" Although Fu Yue's talent was extraordinary, she had only cultivated for a short period of time and was only a level 3 heavenly beast immortal. When she thought of how terrifying a peerless king was, she could not help but feel a little guilty. "Senior sister, have you forgotten what I said? I can kill a peerless king like killing a chicken. Nothing will happen to me," Yi Qinfeng said confidently. "Sigh. All right, since you have made up your mind, let's rest for a night. Tomorrow morning, we will go to the polar snow forest to try our luck. If we really encounter a peerless king, we will retreat immediately." Fu Yue sighed softly. She still did not believe that he could kill a peerless king. After all, the difference in strength between a peerless king and a mystic beast sect was like heaven and earth. A person who could kill a peerless king was already beyond the scope of a genius and was a monster. "Senior sister Fu, if you are worried, you can stay and wait for me. If I get an opportunity, I will definitely share it with you." Yi Qinfeng looked at Fu Yue's worried face and said, "No, I will accompany you to the polar snow forest." Fu Yue took a deep breath and decided. "All right." Yi Qinfeng nodded. After walking for a short distance, the two of them found an inn with an elegant environment. They rented 2 rooms, respectively. "Senior sister Fu, this trip to the polar snow forest will be more dangerous. I will give you this weapon to protect yourself." When Fu Yue pushed the door open and walked into the room, Yi Qinfeng suddenly called out to her and gave her a blood-red, baleful bloodsword that was 6 feet and 6 inches long. There are many dark patterns on the sword's surface. This is a low-grade, celestial weapon. Sensing the power contained within the Blood Fiend battle blade, Fu Yue's heart was in turmoil. She never would have thought that Yi Qinfeng would give her such a priceless celestial battle blade, a weapon that could even make peerless kings go green with envy. I obtained this celestial weapon from killing an enemy overseas." Yi Qinfeng looked at Fu Yue's dazed face and said with a smile, "All right, it's getting late. I will go back to my room to cultivate." "Thank you." Looking at Yi Qinfeng's back, Fu Yue thanked him softly and returned to her room. She made use of the limited time to refine the Earth-rank soul pill and break through to the level 4 heavenly beast immortal realm. "I hope this treasure map is real." Back in his room, Yi Qinfeng took out the treasure map that he had bought and studied it carefully. He memorized all the routes in his mind and took out the 2 dead spirit stones that were stained with mysterious blood that he had obtained from killing the blood-slaughtering Sword King. He directly absorbed the death chi in the dead spirit stones to form the 4th halo of slaughter. The night passed quickly. After a night of quiet cultivation, Fu Yue successfully broke through to the level 4 heavenly beast immortal realm and greatly increased her strength. After absorbing and refining the 2 dead spirit stones, the death chi in Yi Qinfeng's body had reached a terrifying level. The embryonic form of the 4th halo of slaughter was faintly condensed, and it was only a step away from fully condensing. "It's time to go to the polar snow forest." Yi Qinfeng glanced at the faint light outside the window. He hurriedly took a bath in his room and changed into a clean set of clothes. He met up with Fu Yue, who was in high spirits. The two of them disguised themselves and covered their real faces. They went to the continuous mountain range behind the Cloud Peak city that was covered by a large amount of clouds and mist. Although it seemed ridiculous to openly sell the treasure map, there were still many people who wanted to try their luck. They bought the treasure map and went to the polar snow forest to look for treasures. Yi Qinfeng and Fu Yue followed the markings on the map and spent half a day to enter the depths of the mountains. They found the extreme ice-snow forest at the center of the mountains. It was covered in pure white snow and occupied an area of hundreds of miles. They discovered many figures flashing about in the extreme ice-snow forest. Array patterns. This polar snow forest is filled with so many array patterns. It seems that this treasure map is real. Yi Chunfeng stood outside the polar snow forest. His powerful soul spirit sensed a large number of array patterns and restrictions in the snow forest, and he smiled faintly. With the help of the God-Eater brain and his attainments in array patterns, the array patterns and restrictions in the polar snow forest were no threat to him. Senior Sister Fu, let's go. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue walked into the extremely cold polar snow forest. The ground was covered with a thick layer of ice. It was so quiet that it was scary. They followed the markings on the map and quickly went deeper. As many of the array patterns and restrictions outside the polar snow forest had been destroyed by the experts who had gone deep into the forest earlier, Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue did not encounter any trouble. They followed the markings on the map and quickly arrived at the center of the polar snow forest. Ice beasts. When they arrived at the center of the polar snow forest, the danger level suddenly increased. Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue were attacked by many ice beasts hidden in the snow. Although there were many ice beasts in the polar snow forest, and there were even level 1 heavenly beasts, they were not a threat to Yi Chunfeng at all. Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue killed along the way. They followed the route of the treasure map and quickly arrived at the end of the map. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng's sharp soul spirit suddenly sensed the aura of a few absolute king-level experts not far ahead. He frowned slightly and muttered to himself, "Looks like I guessed right. They are openly selling the treasure map to use us as tools." "What's wrong, Chunfeng?" Seeing Yi Chunfeng's change of expression, Fu Yue sensed something was wrong and asked, "There's danger ahead. Senior Martial Sister Fu, you have to follow me closely," Yi Chunfeng warned sternly. Fu Yue nodded and followed Yi Chunfeng closely. They arrived at the end of the treasure map, outside a seemingly peaceful valley covered in snow. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 351. Spatial Fissure. Spatial Energy. Why is there spatial energy in this valley? Yi Chunfeng stood outside the snow valley. His powerful soul spirit could sense that there were at least 5 absolute kings hiding nearby. He also sensed a terrifying spatial power within the snow valley. There's something strange about this valley. Yi Chunfeng frowned. He did not blindly enter the valley. Instead, he released his powerful soul and extended it further. His soul had just extended 1,000 meters when he discovered 2 Xian beast sect experts who had entered the valley. But in the next moment, the terrifying spatial energy appeared again. It tore the space apart and swallowed one of the Xian beast sect experts. Spatial fissure. There are spatial fissure in this valley. Sensing the truth of the valley, Yi Chunfeng's heart was in turmoil. He finally knew why that mysterious force was openly selling the treasure map of the extreme ice-snow forest. Spatial fissure was known to swallow everything. Even absolute kings would not be spared from spatial fissure. That mysterious force was selling the treasure map to attract a large number of martial artists to enter the valley and scout for them. What's at the end of the valley? It's protected by such a dangerous force like the spatial fissure. Yi Chunfeng mumbled to himself. He hesitated for a moment, but still decided to bring Fu Yue into this dangerous and mysterious snow valley. Just as he made his decision, that Xian beast sect expert who had survived was also swallowed by a spatial fissure. Nothing was left of him. "Senior Sister, let's go in." Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and walked into the valley with Fu Yue. It looked holy and beautiful, but it was filled with danger. This bunch of trash. Not a single one of them helped us scout the way to the end of the valley. When Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue walked into the valley, an old man in a white robe with sunken eyes and a long beard said with an ugly expression. He was a level 3 defiant beast king. "Sigh, we can't blame them. There are too many spatial rifts in the Snow Valley. If this group of people doesn't succeed, we can only continue to sell the treasure map and attract more people to break the spatial rifts in the Snow Valley. Beside the white-robed elder, a middle-aged man in his 30s with a squarish face and bright eyes under his sword-like eyebrows sighed softly. He was a second-level beast king. He had no pity for the warriors who had come to die. I'm afraid that if this matter drags on for too long, some smart people will be suspicious. That will be troublesome. A woman wearing a white martial arts suit with a plump figure and a white veil covering her face said worriedly, "Let's wait patiently for 3 more days. If no one can reach the end of the Snow Valley in 3 days, we'll take the risk and try." The white-robed old man pondered for a moment and decided. All right. The square-faced man and the white-veiled woman nodded in agreement. Chingfeng, do you feel it? The power in this Snow Valley is somewhat strange, and it makes me feel cold from the bottom of my heart. Following Yi Chunfeng closely into the Snow Valley, Fu Yue felt the spatial power in the Snow Valley, and a strong sense of uneasiness grew in her heart. I feel it. That terrifying power should be released from the spatial rifts. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, Spatial rifts. Fu Yue, who had an extraordinary background, had heard of spatial rifts and knew how terrifying they were. Knowing that there were spatial rifts in the Snow Valley, her face could not help but turn pale, and the uneasiness in her heart grew stronger. At this moment, 3 profound beast grandmasters appeared in the Snow Valley together. When they saw Fu Yue, who looked like a dark elf, had a tall and graceful figure, a charming and exquisite face, and a different temperament, their eyes immediately lit up. What a beautiful girl! A burly middle-aged man with a full beard and explosive muscles licked his lips. He stared straight at Fu Yue. His burning gaze seemed to melt her. As for Yi Chunfeng, who was using the Soul Eater incantation and hiding his true cultivation level, he was ignored by them. Yi Chunfeng glanced coldly at the burly man and the other 2. He did not rush to kill them, and continued to use the power of the God Eater incantation to sense the hidden spatial rifts in the space before him. Beauty, are you interested in traveling with us 3 brothers? The burly man looked at Fu Yue's sexy body with burning eyes, walked over slowly, and said with evil intentions, Sure, I couldn't ask for more. But before that, you need to help me with an experiment. What experiment? The burly man frowned slightly and said in a low voice, looking at Yi Chunfeng with eyes full of murderous intent, Help me find the location of the spatial rifts. Yi Chunfeng cracked a smile. Before the burly man could react, Yi Chunfeng strangely appeared behind him and slammed his shoulder into the burly man's back. With a force of hundreds of thousands of pounds, the burly man was sent flying and fell hard 50 meters away. Just as he spat out a mouthful of blood, a terrifying spatial crack mysteriously appeared. It was like a huge, devouring mouth that directly swallowed him, and he disappeared. Gulp! Space! Space rift! There's a space rift here. Seeing the burly man being swallowed by the space rift, his 2 companions were scared out of their wits. Their faces turned pale and bloodless, and they wanted to turn around and flee. Where are you going? Didn't we agree to travel together? Yi Chunfeng's body flashed slightly and blocked the 2 of them. He said with a cold smile, Go to hell. The 2 of them roared and fused the power of their spiritual beasts. They attacked Yi Chunfeng together, wanting to force him to retreat and leave this strange Snow Valley quickly. However, the gap in strength between them and Yi Chunfeng was too big. The soul skills they launched couldn't cause any damage to Yi Chunfeng and were broken by Yi Chunfeng's 2 fingers. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng appeared beside one of them and grabbed his neck. Ignoring his resistance, he threw him 75 meters away. The moment the blue-robed man fell to the ground, the strange spatial rift appeared again, releasing a powerful, devouring force and swallowing him. No, don't kill me. Please don't kill me. 2 of his companions were swallowed by the spatial rift one after another. The only remaining man with a thin face was terrified. A layer of cold sweat appeared on his forehead as he begged for mercy loudly. Just as he was begging for mercy, A powerful aura erupted from Yi Chunfeng's body and bombarded his chest fiercely, sending him flying. He fell 100 meters away and was swallowed by the spatial rift that appeared without warning. It's accurate. The God-Eater brain can really sense the location of a spatial rift. Looking at the scene of the man with a thin face being swallowed by the spatial rift, Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile. The experiment was a success. He could safely bring Fu Yue into the Snow Valley. Senior Fu, let's go. You must not be too far away from me, or you will be in danger. With that said, Yi Chunfeng took the initiative to hold Fu Yue's soft and smooth hand and continued to move forward. It was the first time that the opposite sex held her hand. Fu Yue, who was as cold as ice, did not have a trace of rejection in her heart. She allowed Yi Chunfeng to hold her hand and meandered forward in the Snow Valley, avoiding the spatial rifts hidden in the spatial rift. About half an hour later, the two of them held hands, shoulder to shoulder, and closely leaned against each other. They did not trigger any spatial rifts and arrived at the end of the Snow Valley. What? Someone did not trigger any spatial rifts and reached the end of the Snow Valley. Who were those two people? Hiding outside the Snow Valley, the white-robed old man and others who had been releasing their soul power to observe noticed that Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue had easily reached the end of the Snow Valley. Their expressions changed slightly as they felt suspicious. Without hesitation, they entered the Snow Valley and copied Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue's walking route. They avoided the spatial rifts and chased after Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue, who had shocked them. Mobile reading website, book address. To facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 352. Lost Treasure. Ancient Formation. Phew, I finally made it out. With the help of the God-Eater brain, Yi Chunfeng avoided the last crack hidden in space and held Fu Yue's hand as they rushed out of the Snow Valley. The scenery in front of them immediately changed. The scene of white snow disappeared and was replaced by a space enveloped by a large number of formations and restrictions. It was filled with a deathly stillness and desolate aura, and the light was extremely dim. What a dense death aura. Why is there so much death aura in this space? Looking around at this dark space, Yi Chunfeng smelled a sense of danger. It was as if there was a terrifying power hiding in the depths of this space. Senior Sister Fu, this space is a little strange. Quickly put on this set of heaven artifact to guard against any possible dangers. To be safe, Yi Chunfeng took out the repaired heavenly armor from his universe ring and gave it to Fu Yue. Low-grade heaven-tier battle armor. Fu Yue sucked in a breath of cold air as she looked at the dazzling silver heavenly armor that was covered with defensive array patterns. Her hands that were holding onto the heavenly armor started to tremble. Senior Sister Fu, let's not waste any more time. Quickly put on the heavenly battle armor. We need to enter this place as soon as possible. If we're late, there might be trouble. Yi Chunfeng looked at the dazed Fu Yue and urged her. All right. Fu Yue, who had regained her senses, quickly put on the heavenly battle armor, which had an amazing defense to protect her entire body. In the next moment, a large amount of golden light poured out from Yi Chunfeng's body. He summoned the golden rock wings and hugged Fu Yue in his arms. He spread his wings and flew high into the sky. He flew at an extremely fast speed into the depths of this dead space in search of an opportunity. Being held in Yi Chunfeng's arms and feeling the masculine aura emanating from his body, Fu Yue felt a little strange in her heart. However, she quickly got rid of the distracting thoughts in her mind and allowed Yi Chunfeng to hold her as they sped through the silent space. Awu! Yi Chunfeng and Li Wuyo had just flown for the time it took for an incense stick to burn when a series of bone-chilling beast roars resounded from the depths of the gloomy space. Balls of green light appeared in the gloomy space. They interweaved into a large net and enveloped Yi Chunfeng and his companion. Senior Sister, cover your ears. Yi Chen-feng immediately transmitted his voice as the green light net enveloped him. His soul power surged within his body, forming a large amount of air currents. Lion King's roar. Yi Chen-feng roared. Terrifying sound waves gushed out from his mouth and turned into a ferocious lion head. It floated in the air and roared at the green net. For a moment, the air currents surged, the earth shook, and the mountains shook. The terrifying sound waves were like a surging tide, creating stormy waves that stretched out for thousands of meters. They tore apart the green light net and scattered the dense green light balls. Although Fu Yue had covered her ears in advance, her eardrums still hurt from the Lion King's roar. Her soul trembled, and the air in her body churned violently. Strong, too strong. Could it be that Chen-feng really has the strength to kill a peerless king? Witnessing the might of Yi Chen-feng's roar, Fu Yue was completely stunned. She felt that she had really underestimated Yi Chen-feng. His strength was completely beyond her imagination. Whoosh! Using the Lion King's roar to tear apart the green light net, the golden rock flapped its wings violently, creating gusts of hurricanes. They continued to enter this mysterious and unknown space. At the same time, the white-robed elder and the others imitated the path Yi Chen-feng and his companion walked. They successfully passed through the snow valley with hidden spatial rifts and entered this gloomy space. Great Elder, who do you think that brat is? How could he sense the spatial rifts in the snow valley? Do you think he has a topographic map that is even more detailed than ours? The white-robed lady frowned and asked, That brat is indeed a little strange. However, he is not very strong. He is only a 6th grade Black Beast Grandmaster. With our strength, we can kill him. How about this? We will split up and kill that brat first before entering to search for treasures. The white-robed elder decided. From his point of view, with Yi Chen-feng and his companion's strength, there was no way they could escape the pursuit of 5 peerless kings. It was only a matter of time before they lost their lives. All right, the white-robed lady and the others nodded. They condensed their red soul wings and flew into the mysterious and unknown gloomy space, chasing after Yi Chen-feng and his companion. Chen-feng, there seems to be treasure up ahead. Yi Chen-feng hugged Fu Yue tightly and flew close to the ground for more than 2 hours. Fu Yue suddenly noticed a faint light up ahead and transmitted her voice. There's nothing good up ahead. It's just a high-grade earth weapon. Yi Chen-feng, whose soul covered tens of thousands of meters, said lightly. You don't even want a high-grade earth weapon? Fu Yue asked with a bitter smile. A high-grade earth weapon was the cornerstone treasure of the Heavenly Fire sect. However, in Yi Chen-feng's eyes, it was trash. No, even if it's a supreme-grade earth weapon. Yi Chen-feng shook his head and said, I have plenty of those things. It will be a burden to me if I have more. Fu Yue was speechless. Chen-feng, did you rob a treasure vault overseas? Fu Yue asked suspiciously. No, I only killed a dozen or so peerless kings and obtained their treasures. That's all. Yi Chen-feng explained calmly. However, to Fu Yue, it was like thunder from the 9 heavens. Killed about 10 peerless kings. Fu Yue's eyes widened. She could not help but drag out her words. Among them were 2 5th-grade reverse beast kings and 4 4th-grade reverse beast kings. Yi Chen-feng nodded and said. Fu Yue was speechless. Why don't you believe me? Seeing the suspicion in Fu Yue's eyes, Yi Chen-feng asked with a smile. I'd be a fool to believe you. Fu Yue rolled her eyes at him. She pursed her lips and said, Do you think that peerless kings are cabbages that you can kill whenever you want? Since when have you learned to brag? That's not a good habit. Yi Chen-feng was speechless. Yi Chen-feng flew faster and faster with Fu Yue. The treasures scattered in the dark space did not interest him at all. Soon, the two of them found a strange black hole in the dark space. Outside the black hole, there was an ancient formation with thousands of formation inscriptions that flowed slowly. Senior sister, wait for me here. I'll go break the array. Feeling that the ancient array in front of him was not ordinary, Yi Chen-feng left Fu Yue outside the ancient array and walked in. Rumble. Walking into the ancient formation, the slowly flowing ancient formation started to operate at high speed. The formation patterns floating on the surface of the ancient formation quickly condensed, converging into bolts of terrifying lightning that tore through space and bombarded Yi Qinfeng's body. The ferocious lightning and wanton energy instantly engulfed him. What a terrifying power! Qingfeng will be fine, right? Looking at the violent lightning and feeling the ground trembling, Fu Yue's forehead broke out in a cold sweat. Her heart raced as if it was about to jump out of her body. She had no doubt that if she was in the ancient array, her body would be easily destroyed by the violent lightning. She could not help but worry for Yi Qinfeng, afraid that something would happen to him. After more than 2 hours, Fu Yue realized that the attacks of the ancient array had not weakened. Instead, they were becoming more and more ferocious. The ground within a few miles was filled with crisscrossing cracks from the violent lightning. Seeing the chaotic scene in the ancient array, the fear in Fu Yue's heart slowly turned into despair. The uneasiness in her heart grew stronger. Just as Fu Yue was biting her pale lips and praying for Yi Qinfeng, a terrifying aura appeared and locked onto her. Her heart fell into a bottomless abyss. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.